Let's go! Welcome back to Hall of Fame College Football. I'm your host, Jason Watkins. He's the coach, Philip Roybal. And if you love college football, you're definitely in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of the Hall of Fame College Football Live Show. Folks, we are coming to you early live this week. We're going to get in some pre-weekend. Hey, I'm glad everybody's wiping their feet. Thank you very much. We're going to get some previews in here with the coach on the biggest games of the weekend before I get out of here and head to Cincinnati for the OU game as well. Welcome everybody in here. Mike, thank you very much for coming in. Hank, Adela, there she is. Brian, Stephen G, here we go. Power line, yes sir. Happy Power Line Day. I like that.
Rock and roll.
Kim, of course. All the regulars are here as usual. Enjoy seeing you guys all in here. If you haven't hit that like button, make sure you do. And hey, maybe share the stream to your friends on Twitter, Facebook, wherever. Anybody who might want to see it and check out this preview. We're going to go live for a little while. We will have also on the show later on David Neill from David Talks Buffs, along with Nathan Bomber Brown from the Big 12 Mafia, as we talk a little bit of all the games going on around college football. So, hey, we're excited about everything going on here this weekend. What's up there? Steve B and Steve from Ohio, Florida. In the house. Welcome.
All right.
Here. Stephen G already here as well. Hey, Eric, Barnett. I'll give everybody a shout out as they come in. Thank you guys so much for coming in and seeing us today. Yeah. Coach, rough week this week a little bit with your new team, but hey, you know, they're young kids that, you know, you got to get them going. Is back to like the old days of, you know, having a young team.
Absolutely, but it's so fun watching these little farts run around and learn the game. We had a scrimmage and we got beat 24-6. wasn't you know, and the competitive juices in me don't ever go away. I don't care if I'm playing tiddlywinks. I want to win.
Oh, I know you do, Coach. No, you do. Hey, what's up, Eric? Glad you made the show, man. Appreciate everything. Yeah. Coach,
absolutely. Good to see everybody
doing their thing this weekend.
That's the first
thing we are going to talk about today is that game. We'll definitely be getting into some Oklahoma stuff, talk a little bit more about another huge addition to the power line. Danny Okoye makes his commitment to Oklahoma yesterday. Huge commitment for Oklahoma. That's now 5 blue chip defensive line prospects that are in the fold for OU moving forward. Looks like a big time deal for the Sooners, man. It's we're excited about it. And yeah, listen,
pretty incredible.
Yeah, listen, I'll tell you, when you started looking at it last year, it's like you knew it had to happen, but you just kind of wondered if it was gonna after a 6-7 season. I mean, they've only played a couple of games this season, well, 3, and now here you are. You know, you've got probably the most important, you know, piece was definitely going to be David Stone, but then I still maintain that Nigel Smith was very, very important to this deal. I think Danny Okoye is super important to this deal. They all are. This power line group is unbelievable. We're excited about it. It just goes to show you that they're going to be doing things differently. They're now back in the top 5 in recruiting, according to Rivals, and I think 247 has them around 7th. And the same with on 3. So we're looking like, it's kind of like the old days of Oklahoma finally having a defense again. That excites a lot of people around here, and they're playing pretty good so far. So big deal this weekend. But let's get into this Ohio State in South Bend this weekend to take on your Irish. Hey, after, we talked a lot about, Coach, the game that you guys had against them in the opener last season. You did everything but beat them, and you just really couldn't. It was like a lot of the games that Notre Dame lost last year, was that you just couldn't generate enough offense, both through the air and even on the ground. But you lose 21-10, I think it was, and really they never really pulled away from there. And that was with C.J. Stroud, who was one of the top quarterbacks in the country for a few years. What are your feelings on this game? Just kind of overview of it. What are your thoughts?
Well, and I tell you what, I've sat down obviously and done some comparative analysis just of both teams, and I've watched just about every game I could on both of them again, and I tell you what, I think, again, going back and talking about last year, we're in the game the whole time. We were not half the team last year that we are this year, and I think everybody knows that. The difference in that right now is our quarterback, Sam Hartman, that we picked up through the portal from Wake Forest. And he's been a difference maker. I think last year Ohio State had, I know last year they had the best quarterback. Our quarterbacks, as you well know, have gone on to other places and have played horrible there. So they just carried on what they were doing here. And so
knew you weren't going to take long to do that.
You knew it wouldn't take long. And so I think, honestly, this year, and I know they just named McCord their starting quarterback last week. They supposedly they had a little bit of a competition going on with Devin Brown and Kyle McCord, but I think everybody knew it was going to be McCord. And the thing is, he's got 3 starts now in college football.
Right. And the thing is they couldn't really name him early, because at this stage of the transfer portal there and stuff like that, then you end up without a backup, because they jump into the portal. So
exactly,
I think that's kind of what's going on.
Yeah, it was a done deal. Yeah.
Right.
And so, but I look at that, like I said, he's got a few games under his belt. We have a quarterback at Notre Dame now that's got I think 56 starts under his belt at the collegiate level. He's cool, calm, collected, and if you've watched any Notre Dame games, guys, he sits in the pocket. People are flying by him everywhere, and you can't even tell that he's flustered at all. And so I think a big thing is going to be how does our O-line protect because they do have a good defensive line at Ohio State, and they've got athletes obviously, and we do too, but I think that's going to be a key to the game, is how we protect Sam and how we open up holes for Audric Estime. I can argue that Estime, along with Ohio State's running back Trayvon Henderson, is one of the best backs in the country. So
absolutely, and I'll tell you, Estime has been everything as advertised, right? The guy is clearly that bell cow running back that can run over you, run around you. He's one of those workhorse type guys. The thing is that I've noticed is that when you've got guys like Jadarian Price and then Jabron Payne as well, that's a 1-2-3 punch for those guys. That really something that I mean, we know about Sam Hartman and what he's done. For anybody, the critics of Sam Hartman are going to say, well, he's never really won the big game. Well, he took Wake Forest to a conference championship game, which it's been a while since they've been anywhere close to that. They didn't win it. But I tell you, Jason, Wake Forest isn't exactly the same football team as what Notre Dame is either.
Right.
He doesn't have to do it all himself now. And I think that's helped him, has it not?
Oh, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. And when people say he hadn't won the big game, you can say the same thing about Notre Dame. It's been a long, long time since we won the big game.
That's fair.
And we have an opportunity here. I mean, have we been in some big games? Yeah, we've been in some big games, but we've also got our ass kicked in those big games.
Right.
And and
Oklahoma
so
has to. We get it.
this is our opportunity to say, you know what, Notre Dame football is back. And we're not going to jump the gun like Texas and saying we're back, but we'll tell it. We'll have a better gauge after this ball game.
Well, and you're looking at it too. I mean, this is a matchup of top 10 teams. Notre Dame coming in at number 9 in the latest AP poll. Ohio State is at number 6. They've been as high as 3, 2 and 3, depending on which polls you're looking at. But obviously coming into this week, the top 5 in the poll is Georgia, Michigan, Texas, up 1 from number 4, and then Florida State dropping to number 4. Then at number 5, USC, which whatever. We don't really have to get into that part. They hadn't played anybody yet. They're gonna get, a taste of it. The last half of the season, that'll take care of that. We know that. Kind of coming into it, right?
Absolutely. Now, I tell you what, Jason. The other thing that we've got to be able to match up and play well against is their wide receivers. I mean, they've got NFL type receivers. You could argue that they have the best receiving core in the country as a group, and so it's going to be important defensively that our corners and safeties play well with Cam Hart, obviously one of our corners, and we're just going to have to step up and really play some good defense. I mean, that's going to be
And I think that's going to put some onus on that defensive line as well, isn't it, Coach? Because you got to get some pressure on. You got a new quarterback there for Ohio State and Kyle McCord, where he's started off the year. He's got a pretty good stat line. He comes in. He's completed 53 of his 76 attempts for 815 yards, 6 TDs and a pick. They kind of started off a bit slow last week, ended up blowing out their opponent, but it looks like they're starting to come around. And when you do have a receiving core like that, I mean, we're talking about, Marvin Harrison Jr., Julian Fleming, and then, of course, Emeka Egbuka. These guys are freaking insane, right? And then, at tight end, they're just the typical Ohio State football team under Ryan Day. They're going to try to put up lots of points. I would think that the biggest thing that you probably want to do is make sure that you can get some pressure on McCord, as this is his first year as a starter, and try to get him off his platforms to try to make throws to those guys, wouldn't you think?
Absolutely. And you know what, when you have, and we all know this, when you have a young quarterback back there, you want to get to him and try to get him rattled and get him get him off kilt. And so I think it's going to be important that we do that. But one of the things that they were talking about Marcus Freeman about a lot this week was, well, y'all don't have many sacks. You don't have many sacks. I think we've got a total of 6 sacks coming into this ball game. But here's the thing, and I loved Marcus's answer because it would have been the very same thing I would have talked about. But our passing efficiency is setting up there about 85%, 86%, somewhere in there. And he said, I'd a lot rather have a great passing efficiency rating than a lot of sacks, which, and sacks go into that equation. But when you're talking about passing, the efficiency.
What do you mean, opponent's passing efficiency rating or?
No, it's our pass, and I tell you what goes into that rating. It includes the opponent's pass completions percentage, interception percentage, the opponent's passing yardage, the opponent's yards per attempt, and the opponent's touchdown passes. So it takes in a lot of things into account as far as the passing game. And we're, I know that he's pleased. I'm pleased that we're sitting there at about 86% So happy with that. Now, do we want
to shut it down? So against it. Well, and here's the thing, it's kind of the same thing. The question around Oklahoma's kind of been the same thing into the year. They hadn't had a ton of sacks. They've gotten a few here and there, but also you got to figure when you're going up against some of the teams that you're going up against early on in the year, which it's going to be a lot of cupcakes whenever you're playing on-con and you're one of these two programs. They're going out there and putting in max protection to make sure they're getting the ball off fast. So if it's coming out in 2 seconds, you're not going to get a bunch of sacks. But if you're getting the ball off in 2 seconds, that means you're getting pressure. They're feeling pressure because they know they got to get it off. The fact that they've gotten a lot of interceptions, and I mean, look, the one thing, and I've said it over and over again, the thing that I see the most I've seen, people are in here talking about, the last time that you felt like you were going to have the best quarterback on the field every week at Notre Dame. Probably been a while, but what I would tell you is that it's not something that you've never seen. What I haven't seen in a long time there is this kind of, just hit you in the mouth physicality. On both sides of the football, man.
Jason, I couldn't agree with you more. You're exactly right. You and I have been talking about this, for a while now. I mean, they're coming off and hitting you in the mouth, and they're punishing people, whether it's defensively, offensively, and I don't know if any of you watched the game last week, but just talking about our running back, Audric Estime, I'm telling you, he's running over people, through people. He hurdled 2 guys last week, and this is a guy that's probably about 235 pounds, guys, maybe pushing 240. But and then you look up, and he turns the corner on the sweep, and he's out running DBs to the end zone. I mean, so it's not just power; he can run too.
Right. No, look, and I mean, really, you go four deep, really, and even kind of 5 with your freshman Jeremiah Love. That you've kind of seen a little bit of all of them. It's they're going to do it by committee, which is the smart way to do it at every level. It seems like these days. But and talk a little bit about that offensive line, because it seems like now that's going to be where you kind of have to win on the offensive side, is to kind of keep them out of your backfield and be able to push that tempo and be able to run the ball, right?
Yeah, absolutely, Jason. I couldn't agree with you more. And and Notre Dame has kind of become and grown into kind of being O-line U, and we've got Joe Alt that's at our left tackle. He's been starting there since he was a freshman, and I'm going to tell you what, he's a man child. He'll probably go to the NFL after this season. On the other side, the bookend on the other side, Blake Fisher, they're almost like twins. And so we look pretty good there on the tackles. Now, my concerns right now, Jason, are our left guard, Pat Coogan, and our right guard, Rocco Spindler. They're still coming along. And so we're going to find out this weekend what they're really made of, because this is, this is the first big time game that they've had to play in. And, I feel pretty good about our center, Zeke Correll. He's pretty steady, not great, but he's steady and gets the job done. So those 2 guards are going to be key to me as far as coming off and playing. But I've also seen, our O-line coach has done a good job of helping those people together. The double team blocks, and so I think they've done a good job coaching them up as well with what they have.
That's the other thing. I think that the difference in, there's no shortage of people that, don't really care for Brian Kelly around here. So, you can say what you feel there. I think Marcus Freeman has done a fabulous job. He turns it around and wins 9 games there. And, you got to think about it. He got the job when Kelly left. He gets they lose to Okie Light in the Fiesta Bowl. But, that was, and then they turn around and lose it turns out they lose his first 3 games as a head coach. And, I remember him talking about that on the Pivot podcast. All of a sudden he had to figure it out, but he has, and he's recruiting on a level that a lot of people have said for a long time, you can't do this at Notre Dame anymore.
Exactly. And you know what? And let's talk about this real quick, because where did he play his college ball? He played it at the University of, Ohio State. And
he's a Buckeye,
so,
yeah. He was a Buckeye. And he was a bad dude.
Bad dude.
Bad dude, yeah.
And had he not had his medical issues, he would have still been playing in the NFL probably.
Sure.
But I believe that he brought some of that mentality and grew up playing in that mentality of physicality and then the recruiting piece, knowing what those pieces look like and knowing that you've got to go out and recruit. We just recruited a great quarterback, had a great quarterback that we just got in, and another old lineman that people didn't think. As a matter of fact, we beat out Ohio State for the kid. And so he's bringing in the players that can play at this level for the big trophy. And that's, I think, like you said, he's done a great job. He's still learning, still getting some things that, because it's always hard for a young head coach coming in.
This would be a big win, though. This is the kind of win that you can put a stamp on your, on that I'm here. I'm here, and now, and look, this isn't the the only big game you've got. We're going to wait and see kind of what Clemson looks like. They have a big game against Florida State this weekend. They're unranked at this point after the way they've played the last few weeks and losing to Duke, of course. But I tell you, until Florida State wins, they've lost 8 in a row. You gotta expect that they're probably not going to get it done. But my thought is that you still got USC, and then you got Clemson. If you can get this win and get the USC win, it looks like that playoff road opens up for you.
It does. I don't think there's any doubt. This win, I think, is a crucial win for us. And like you said, I think if we get this one and we finish out strong, because we do have a lot of we have a lot of games that we could falter on the way out. And again, like you said, we still have USC. What's up, David?
David,
Coach
Neill,
Jason,
how we
what's
doing,
going
buddy?
on?
Hey, good to see you, my friend. Welcome to the show from David Talks Buffs, Mr. David Neill, everybody. Hey, we were just finishing up our preview on Notre Dame and Ohio State this weekend. Wanted to just talk a little bit real quick about Ohio State. Now, obviously, this is an offense that is, under Ryan Day, that's what they do well. I think that where they've struggled is on the other side of the ball, but it kind of looks like that they're starting to kind of get it going there too.
It does.
What are your thoughts about having the experience? Is that, how important is that, having that experience with Hartman behind center, coming into this game, Coach?
Well, Hartman, guys, right now, he when he goes to his locker and he gets suited up, he takes all his clothes off and puts on his Superman uniform, because that's what he has become for us at this juncture. Now, the thing is, he's going to be wearing that Superman uniform on Saturday. I believe he's a true competitor. I would venture to say you're going to see Superman, and he has changed the culture of the football team as a whole. And I tell you what I really love about this guy. They're already talking to him about, well, you could be a Heisman front runner, and hell, he starts saying, well, you know what, it all starts with my O-line and Audric Estime, and the receivers are doing it. He doesn't say a damn thing about himself. And guys, how much do we see that anymore in college football? you know, hell, if they're talking to one of those other guys about being a front runner there for the Heisman, it's, well, you know, I do this well and do that well, and yeah, you know, hell, it's all about I and me, but he's changed the whole culture. You see him in the ball game, he's cool, calm, collected. He doesn't panic. The offense doesn't panic. And in the past, it felt like we were, hell, I'd be sitting at home watching on TV and shit, I was in panic mode watching them because they were in panic mode. And so, you know, it's just awesome to see what he's brought to the table. And
Right.
the players talk about it. The players are constantly talking about what he's brought to the table. Now, you know, he's just 2 years younger than me, and I'm 63. So
I was just fixing to say, old man River over there, you know, he's getting all the love. He knows what to do with that leadership deal. You know, the funny thing, that was what you're talking about, the receivers with Jaden Grayhouse, you know, that freshman, and he's been a heck of a really good player for Notre Dame starting off the year. You see it in, you know, what he did in high school. I watched a lot of his tape. That dude was a beast. But he was talking about how he was in 5th grade when I think he was in 5th or 6th grade when Sam started college. You know, yeah. So he was a kid, you know what I mean, 5th or 6th grade, and now here he is, you know, playing with him in college. David, what are your thoughts on that, Coach? Let's get your prediction on the game.
Yes.
I mean, you know, what do you got a score prediction there?
I do. I think one of them wins by 3.
One of them wins by 3. Which one?
Love it.
Come on.
Well, you know who I got to go with.
I know you got the Irish, of course. Come on.
There ain't no doubt. There ain't no doubt.
Hey,
I got to go with the Irish. But I truly believe this, guys. And you know, I try to, when we get a game like this, I try to be really honest about things and try to take out my, you know, I want Notre Dame to win this thing, which I do. But at the end of the day, I'm being as realistic as I can be. And I think it's going to be a close game. And I think I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game. And I think it's going to be a 3-point ball game.
Yeah. Dave, what do you think? What do you think? Who do you got in this one?
Yeah, Coach, I got to tell you, I'm fully on the Notre Dame bandwagon, man, with you. So I'm going to be cheering for the Irish. And I mean, just what you were getting at. I mean, how can you not like and want to root for a guy like Sam Hartman, man? And you know, he's playing great football, and you know, now he's got a big test ahead of him, and I think he's going to play really well. You know, I think it's a tough thing to go in there and get a win against a team like Ohio State, but you know, I think this Notre Dame team is up for the challenge. You know, that's just me, and you know, we'll see. But you know, if Notre Dame pulls off the upset, man, I just Ohio State fans, man, I feel like it's you know, they're just gonna get at Ryan Day immediately, man. And it's like, man, do you see Alabama or Georgia, you know, constantly, you know, wondering if they need to move on to a new head coach after a loss or two, man. You know, I just I feel kind of bad for Ryan Day because he's in a no-win situation unless he wins the Natty every year, I feel like.
Yeah, it's tough there. Yeah, I agree.
Folks, thank you everybody for coming in and checking out our preview show. I know we kind of announced it a little bit late. If you haven't already hit that like button, make sure you have wiped your feet before you come in. We probably get some of the CU folks in here a little bit as well, make them feel welcome. Hey, another big game this weekend for Colorado. Look, I don't think that anybody thought that you would be. There's a lot of folks around the country that did not expect this game to be coming, obviously, on the road at Oregon, who is another one of those top 10 programs, according to the AP poll. Let's see. I think they did have them at 10, didn't they? Yeah, right at number 10. You know, and you've got Colorado coming in at, are they in the rankings?
19.
Yeah. 19th. So 19 versus number 10. I don't think a whole lot of people would have said that CU is going to be in the top 25 at all by this game. Now, you have that injury to Travis Hunter. I feel like that's going to be a tough thing for CU, if you're asking me, because of the fact that you lose your best defensive player.
Yes.
And probably your second or third best offensive player too. So you're losing the starter on both ends of it. What has been the feeling around Boulder this week, and what the expectations? And welcome to the show, by the way, Dave.
Oh yeah, thank you. As always, I love being on here. Yeah, the feel, I still think, overall within Buffs Nation, we're excited. We're going up against a huge test, a significant jump in, competitor or talent level. And yeah, we're 3-0. We're ranked right now. Obviously I came on here last week, was talking all my smack. It was so much fun. We were going to win by 50, and I was going to hit the spread again, and that didn't work out. We still saw a great show, but here we are. We're 3-0 regardless of how it looked. And yeah, we're down Travis Hunter. It sucks, but before I get into that, what I did mean to say was that I saw this thing today about how, I forget, whatever, the computers or whatever are saying that CU's the luckiest team now this year. And I'm like, that is just how that's how computers are justifying that they don't know shit about this team. And, that's just really true, because we're going into this game, in Eugene. It's going to be hard, but the lines are exactly what we saw for the TCU game. 21 point spread. I think money line is plus 650. And I promised you, I was only going to bet if the Buffs kept covering. But I just couldn't help myself. Even though I got, I predicted Oregon, to win this game. I'm excited to see the Buffs play a competitive game. And I think, we have this opportunity again to show improvement, to show that we can play a complete game that we've been waiting for. But Travis Hunter makes that difficult. On the flip side, we're getting a bunch of reinforcements this week that people haven't seen. Our star running back, Dylan Edwards has kind of turned into a star, in his own right. Yeah, but we're getting Alton McCaskill back, and that's going to be huge. We're going to see, I think you'll see some 2-back sets, some different things like that we haven't run yet within the first 3 games. We're getting, some guys on the defense back, such as it's looking like Travis J might play, Brandon Gant, those Florida State transfers. Demoy Kennedy, our fastest linebacker, should be back, transfer from Alabama. So, Carter Stoutmeyer, true freshman guy who has kind of been our third DB so far. I'm expecting him to be back from I believe it was an ankle injury. So we do have some reinforcements coming in, and I think that does provide the opportunity to provide Oregon with some looks that they haven't seen on film yet.
Yep.
Sure. And, that's the thing. I think that's one of the keys if you're coming into this game, probably for CU, is that they got to run the ball a little better, because you've noticed the last couple of games, especially, Shador's been taking a lot of hits, getting sacked a lot more, and being rushed a lot more, because they haven't been able to really establish that run. Now, he's obviously been fantastic coming into this season, or, for the 3 games. What a big comeback last week. I mean, to go down 90-yard run, a 90-yard drive, to tie the game, send it to overtime. There's a lot of things that could have happened there towards the end of the game that could have, it's a rivalry game. A lot of stuff happens, right? But when you come in with that amount of time, you're 90 yards away from pay dirt, and you got to go get a touchdown. And he didn't look flustered to me, man. And that's one of the things that I've said over and over again. The reason that I believe in this team more than anything is that man right there. Moorhead, but this would help him a lot to have McCaskill obviously getting in there. They've still been waiting on what's his name from Kentucky. Kavase Smoke. I know he's been injured still as well. But and Dylan Edwards has been great, but you need a good 1-2 punch, and McCaskill may be that guy that can be that bell cow to kind of help him out there as well, don't you think?
Yeah, and I think one underrated aspect and quality that McCaskill brings, coming over here from Houston is just his vision. I think he's got fantastic vision, and that's going to help the line. I mean, we were starting a true freshman center last week, which was, tough for any true freshman to come in there and do that. So we should be getting Van Wells back this week. I would not be surprised if the guard combination looks a little bit different this week as well. But I think he is going to help the run game, tremendously. We need a guy that can grind out those tough yards. And and as long as we got a guy like Shador back there, as long as the game's close, I mean, this team shines when the moments are the biggest. We're forcing turnovers, we're making plays to go score. Like, this team is not afraid to make plays in the clutch, and I think they play their best when they feel doubted, when they're not expected to do much, and I think too, like, it's nice kind of having this week where there's no drama, there's nothing going on, where, like, we had the whole show last week, which was awesome. It was so much fun. But like Coach Prime has said, him and his kids are used to that. I mean, they grew up being on TV, right? But some of our other team, they're not. They're still kind of getting used to the show that's happening every week. And I think it's nice, that they've had this week to just really focus on football. This fight sells itself. I would imagine that this is going to be the most watched game this weekend, or most watched game of the season, as long as it remains, close. And I mean, this team is still finding its footing. They've just been able to make the plays, when the time has been right to, secure the victories. But this thing will get better as time goes on.
As much as people talk about Travis Hunter, Jordan Dominic has been a man too on that other side of the ball. For everybody that says that they don't play any kind of defense, they've also played teams with a pulse. I love the, I kind of got into it with the Uncle Lou the last couple of days. He was, telling me how terrible, telling everybody how terrible Colorado is. He's been saying that, and there's a lot of people that love to go with that. You're going to sit there and tell me that USC is good, but they haven't even played anybody with a pulse yet. Their defense is trash, and they haven't played anybody with a pulse. At least, at least Colorado has. The one thing I would say is, whether you expect them to win this week or not, and I don't know that you really can expect it.
Yeah,
I think they're going to be in the game, right? A 3-touchdown favorite. There's no way that I see that going down, really. I have a hard time seeing them lose by 3 touchdowns. And if they were to lose to USC the week after that, I could see that happening as well. I don't see them getting blown out. I think this Colorado team is clearly a team that's going to give you a hard time, just because they don't believe that they can lose. I don't think that's, and you can't really put a number on that, right? I just don't think that you can do that.
No, it's true. This team has shown its mental fortitude, and I think it would be really easy for, again, we sometimes forget these guys are, 19, 20 years old sometimes, when you come out after all day anticipating, that game last Saturday where you're getting punched in the mouth right there from Colorado State. Sometimes those teams, it can be tough to kind of bounce back, find your mojo, and go and get the win. Sure. And, they were able to do it. But I think as long as, this game remains close, we're going to have a great shot. The biggest thing right now for me, when I'm making like an objective prediction, on this, is why I'm going with Oregon, is because we haven't yet seen Colorado eliminate those mistakes where they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot, stalling momentum on certain drives, or, giving the opposing offense, an opportunity to get back on the field after, a third down, but there's a pass interference or a late hit or something like that. I really want to see this team play cleaner football, minimizing the mistakes. Because, I mean, this has been a bend but don't break defense. But they've been doing a lot of bending. Surprised they haven't broke yet. But they're when they get to the toughest moments, especially in the red zone, they've been able to generate turnovers. And while Bo Nix has eliminated his turnover issues significantly from since coming to Oregon, if we win the turnover battle, I really like CU shot going up against Bo Nix.
Yeah, I agree.
They didn't start calling him Bo Picks for nothing. So I could see that happening. Now, obviously not going up against, he's looked a lot better, and they've even got him, in the Heisman conversation. Oregon's pushing him really hard for that. I have a hard time believing that he's really in the mix. My top 5, it remains with probably, I think it's Caleb Williams. I think that it's obviously Shador right up there near the top.
Yep.
I would bring Sam Hartman would be right in the top 5 with me as well. And I think that Dylan Gabriel has proven that he's up there as well. But I think Michael Penix, to me, is the number 1 guy right now.
Okay. Yeah.
With what
agree.
he's doing. That's just my feeling on it. But I also think that, maybe Caleb Williams or him, but you could kind of toss it up either way. But again, though, SC hasn't really played anybody. But, when you're the defending guy, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt for now, but I still think Michael Penix is having the best season right now.
And guys, we know this too. It's going to also boil down to who can take their team to the dance. If you can't get them to the dance, you're going to lose a couple of notches off your belt.
I think you at least have to get them generally to the conference championship game, don't you think? That's obviously that's where Caleb Williams got USC last year and it won it for him. But I would think that that's probably unless you're, I think Travis getting hurt, probably going to be out 2 to 3 weeks. I hate it that, he might end up missing the USC game as well. That could hurt him doing it. But if you went through a full season playing 130 freaking snaps a game and getting the interceptions that he was probably going to end up with, plus the offensive stats, you got to give it to them no matter what their record was. If they won 7 or 8 games, I would think that you would have to give it to Travis, right?
Sure.
That's my feeling on it. But
that's the way we think. But those committee people, I mean,
fair.
Wow,
fair. And it's become really a quarterback award anyway. At this point. So it's kind of one of them things where you kind of and I think that you're going to steal some votes from each other, from Shador and Travis too. I think that if you're going to get one of them to win it, it might be good that you ended up with an injury because Shador has a better shot at it now.
Yeah, I need to look at the statistical odds of this happening, but of what it would take for 2 people to tie for the Heisman. Because if there's anything that hasn't been done that can be done, I guess anything involving Colorado, you just need to keep it.
I don't know that will even happen. There's so many voters for it that it just. I mean, the thought of it working out that way, because they go 1 to 10 or 1 to 5, I think it is, whatever it is, but it's it would be hard to do that. I think
nearly impossible.
Nearly impossible.
Yeah, you would have to have pretty much the same ballots, the same amount of every ballot. You know what I mean? And so many of the Heisman voters don't even know what the hell they're looking at. They're just a Heisman voter because
some of them don't even know who the hell they are, to be honest with you guys.
Absolutely.
They don't even watch them play. And so, it's kind of makes you sick to your stomach a little bit. I do want to back up a little bit a second on Travis Hunter. Guys, and I just want to say, there's a reason guys don't play both sides of the football. There's lots of guys that are very talented that can play both sides of the football out there.
Sure.
But there's a reason they don't. And what's happened to him with injury, and, that's a lot of the reason, guys, is, the more snaps you're on the field, and guys, we're talking about the cream of the crop as they're moving through college football. And when you're going that many snaps every ball game, it's going to take its toll over time. Plus your percentages, which I'm the worst guy at math in the whole world, but I am smart enough to know that the more you're out there, your chances of injury go up. And so, I just wanted to mention that Gummit, I loved what he was doing, but at the end of the day,
when you're in that many plays, you're just the chances of getting hit. Even I don't think that obviously this injury wasn't one of like attrition where he was just tired or anything. I mean, it was a cheap shot. Now that would be a question I would ask you is, And first off, I want to preface this question with, I was super excited to see both Travis and Coach Prime come into the defense of Blackburn, who made that hit that took him out. That was solid of them. And come on, fans, we can't be those folks. And whoever it was that was doing it, come on.
Yeah.
It's not that serious. But talk to me about what it's been like around Boulder.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think definitely, you know, having Travis go out kind of the way he did was extremely frustrating, because I mean, we've talked about it on the show. Is just, you know, we want to see guys like Bo Nix or Caleb Williams. We don't have Michael Penix on the schedule right now unless we're in the, you know, Pac-12 championship. But, you know, see these guys test, you know, Travis Hunter, and I really wanted to see that. So I think, you know, a lot of us, we just kind of feel robbed, you know, and it was a frustrating thing. I'm glad that, you know, Coach Prime and Travis are taking the high road with it. You know, I think, like that was just great to see. And it, you know, it helps the team collectively, like mentally.
Football,
I think
stuff like this happens, even though I would characterize it as a dirty hit. I would.
And I think he should have gotten suspended, but it is what it is. You know, you got to move on.
Mm-hmm.
No, I agree. Take the high road and move on. And because he obviously with that hit was not taking the high road, but there's no sense to dwell on it. It was done, and you move on. Now, I think Shawty had brought up a good point earlier in another podcast about, what if that would have been somebody else? What would that have looked like? So you know, I'm just putting that out there. I think Shawty had a great point. And again, I don't know if it was meant this way or not. But what if it would have been? What's a big time white receiver? I'm just
like, you know, Jimmy Horn, or like on our team. Yeah.
You know, what if it would have been one of those guys? What would have been the reaction of people if that would have been that way? So I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. I guess I'm trying to set off an atomic bomb. But
no. And I think, again, like the fan base, you know, they'll take their cues from the leaders and the coach too. And I think with them just wanting to move on, it helps the team move on and focus on this next week. You know, it's, for me, like, I'm kind of looking at it, we're trying to look at it as a positive. Like, this is an opportunity for other guys to really step up and have their moments. You know, we had, you know, Mikey Harrison having his moments last week as our starting walk-on tight end. You know, who's to say, you know, we don't see a Rudy too called Mikey, you know, where, you know, he's actually good at football. You know, he's actually scoring touchdowns. I'm just playing. But
but that's true.
There's a lot of guys that we want to see.
Skill positions anyways. That's the only thing about it, is that, and we talked about it earlier, that I was concerned about him getting an injury that could be because of fatigue and things like that. Right. That would be my, you know, kind of a weird deal. But what I would say is that, look, in the end, they're not hurting at the skill position, guys. And I think the one thing that you've seen from Shedeur that you like is the fact that he's been able to, he spreads the ball around, right? He doesn't just look at one way, you know, and then I really like the way, you know, when you had Jimmy Horn drop that football, and coach kind of got on him after that, but then they were hugging it up, and he knew we need you to step it up. We need you to step it up right now, you know? So big time deal. Look, my prediction is I see them probably getting their first loss here, but I think it's going to be a close one. I think they're going to probably lose by 3 or 4. I'll call it 24-20. I expect this to be a really good game. Could be even a higher score game than that, though. But actually, I'll probably say like 41-37. Let's call it.
Who knows how much defense will be played in this game?
Yeah, listen, one thing I'll tell you is this. It wouldn't surprise me to see CU win it. I think it's going to be a hard place to go win at Autzen.
Yes.
But the other thing I would say is, look, when we saw Oregon a couple of weeks ago at Texas Tech, they gave up a lot of points to a lesser quarterback than the one that they're going to face this weekend. You know, so I'm not sure that they have their defensive stuff together either. I think you're going to end up in a shootout here. I really do. You know, I do feel like Oregon probably has the edge here. Welcome to the show, Nathan Bomber Brown. But I do feel like, you know, you have an opportunity here to have a you know, a good game, and I would not be super surprised if Colorado were to pull it off.
Oh yeah, most definitely. It's going to be fun. Sorry, Coach, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I agree wholeheartedly. I wouldn't be surprised to see him pull it off, and I would say that, you know, my guess would be 35-28 right now, Oregon, but it just like I talked about the Notre Dame game. I think that score could be reversed either way.
Sure. David, I know we're going to have to let you get out of here in just a couple of minutes. Did want to go ahead and introduce Nathan Bomber Brown from the Big 12 Mafia and Holy Rivals Show. A big win.
How we doing?
BYU Cougars this past weekend on the road at Arkansas, and he called it. He said he felt like they were going to go in there and get it done. So we had to let him come in here and gloat a little bit himself. You know,
and Boomer, I got to tell you, I did a little happy dance for you.
Did you? Okay,
I did.
I
was excited, brother.
Well, they earned the win. That's all I can say. It was hard fought. So
they did a great job.
How you doing, David?
I'm doing great. I need to text you back with my address. I forgot that, but you know, I'll definitely take a little Big 12 Mafia merch. You know, that's for sure.
Awesome.
So
absolutely,
yeah, I think that would be great.
I'm working on a wall to put behind me, and I'm gonna have some different merch on there from different places. So you know, I'm gonna need a couple of things from everybody. That would be cool.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I'll need to send.
Let me go ahead and get your prediction there, David, on the game this weekend.
Okay, well, I'm gonna play you know, two predictions, right? Okay, so again, with my schedule prediction, I did have Oregon getting this win. And I promised, like I said, that I was not going to play the spread no more. I'm playing the spread. There is no way that this team loses by 21. You can book it. You can book it right here. But, you know, I'll come back to eat crow, you know, if that's not the case. I think objectively, I think Oregon gets a single-digit win. But from the fan perspective, you know, if it's close going into the fourth, I think it could look a lot like TCU. If CU gets the win, I think it's going to be only by like 3 or 4 points, something very close.
Yeah, listen, I think that's right on par. I don't see a world we live in that they're going to lose by 21 points. I just don't see it. You know, I just don't think that this team feels like they can lose. And so even if they do lose at all, I think it's going to be a tight, go down to the wire. This is what you've come to expect. And as I said, when you saw what happened at the end, they did not play well most of the game last week. But when it came down to the time that they had to get scores, 90-yard drive to finish it off, you know, hey, you can't. it's kind of hard to doubt the kid. You know, he looks like he's got ice water in his veins. David, before you get out of here, tell us tell everybody how to find you. And
David
and
Talks Buffs everywhere: YouTube, Twitter, Spotify, Twitch. Oh,
okay. Yeah, no.
Sorry, my internet
what you got coming up this weekend? My bad.
Oh, no, you're good. I'm actually about to hop on with Coach I here at 5. We're going to talk a little bit about what a CU need to do to eventually, you know, become a dynasty like Georgia, right? So we're going to be talking a little bit. I'm going to have a little film session on Alt McCaskill tomorrow around noon with my friend John Cronenberg, taking a look at some of his Houston tape. And, you know, I'm having people on every day. So you're going to see these guys on here, you know, sometime too. So be sure to hit that subscribe and, you know, let me know when you're coming over from Jason's show. It really means a lot.
Hey man, the Mafia likes you too, man. They're checking you out as well. Great channel that you've built for yourself over there. I love the content. Appreciate you coming on our show once again. And we'll let you get out of here so you can get over there with Coach I. But hey, thanks again for coming on, and go Buffs, man.
Go Buffs.
Go Buffs. Good luck to all of your teams. I will be rooting for you guys. See ya.
All right, man. Talk to you soon. All right. once again, that was David Neill from David Talks Buffs. He's a lot of fun, man. He's, these Buffaloes fans, it's been a long time since they've been good. It's been a long time since they've been good. And so it's good to see them excited about the season. And, something that I saw Josh Pate talking about the other day is you get a lot of the casuals on there. And that's not what I would call David at all. But I mean, I think that's where you start seeing the game grow, though, right? Is when you start getting that. It's a great thing that, whether you love or hate Coach Prime, he's definitely moving the needle, right? So that's one of the things that I think that's great for the sport. I think that, coming up soon, they are going to be a problem. And I think they're already a problem in the Pac-12. I think that they're going to, if whether they contend to win the thing or not, which I don't expect them to do that. But what I do think they're going to do is mess it up for some teams. I do. I think there's going to be a couple of games that they win and screw up the chances to win the Pac themselves, to win the Pac for some of these other programs, right?
Right.
I could just see that happening. They're going to be in every game. They just seem to have ice water in their veins. Bomber, talk to us about this Arkansas win the other day.
It's one of those that, every few years your school plays somebody, even the best teams play somebody that it's a good benchmark. It gives you an understanding of where you stand in the landscape in that time. It doesn't happen every year, and not every school has them very often. But this is definitely going to be one of those benchmark games for BYU, basically telling the world, hey, we haven't gone away. We're still here. And now we're ready to actually compete again. So, I was pleasantly surprised. I wasn't shocked that it happened. But I think what we saw, the most important part of all of it, is that BYU's defense can hang and they can play deep. You can rotate probably 8 or 9 guys on the defensive line, which we all know how important that defensive line depth is. And then they've gone fairly deep. Actually, all of the defense is really deep. There's 6 linebackers they rotated through. And then between the defensive backs and safeties, we are down 3 safeties because of injury. But they've backfilled with some really good guys that, if you watch the game at all, you saw that Arkansas torched us last year, just all over the place through the air, 365 yards, something like that. They did nothing, right? After the first quarter, it was like a punch per punch game, and BYU was in it from the very beginning. So I think this game against Kansas is going to be a really big deal. First, it's the first Big 12 game ever. So for BYU, it means a little bit more than it might to Kansas. But Kansas is playing not only for respect, but they want to compete for the league. So you got some guys that are pretty hungry. They're going to be playing in that game. I really appreciate you asking about the Arkansas game, but I'm ready to turn the page and talk Jayhawks.
Hey, listen, first Big 12 game coming up this week. This is obviously the opener for everybody in the Big 12, but, what's it feeling like? You got to go to Lawrence and you got a tough, look, this is a tough out as well. This is one of those programs that they started off, really slow, but they've got one of the better coaches in the country as well in Lance Leipold.
Yes. They've
got an electric quarterback in Jalen Daniels as well. Where do you think that you match up well with this team, and what do you expect to be the key to it?
It's going to be a track meet. They're going to score a bunch of points, and it's just going to be whether BYU is not going to be one of these 3 plays touchdown teams. At least this team this year. With Keaton Slovis, they're going to be very deliberate. If you notice, they didn't run very many plays last week. They tried to shorten the game as quickly as possible to keep their defense off the field as much as they could and control the clock. So you do that with turnovers and short fields, and then causing those chunk plays. You might go 4 or 5 plays in a row and might only get 3 or 4 yards per. But if you can just put drives together of 10, 11, 15 play drives, shorten the game, you can beat anybody if you can control the time. I see Coach over there going, yes, yes, yes.
As I used to tell our teams, because we were a big triple-I team, running the football, and I would tell our players, all we want to do, guys, is matriculate the ball down the field.
Right.
And if they don't have it, they ain't scoring. And we give them small periods of time to go score quickly. And that's when mistakes happen. And so I'm with you all the way. I love what BYU's doing. And if they keep that same philosophy going, they're going to be in great shape.
Look, we've said quite a few times that Coach Satake is definitely one of the coaches that we enjoyed hearing at Big 12 Media Days. I think he's a heck of a coach, man. I think he's a heck of a coach. And look, when you get they've beaten some Power 5 teams before. This isn't the first time they've done it, and BYU is a proud program. So I feel like this is an important game for both teams. Obviously, being the first Big 12 game for BYU, but Kansas kind of needs to establish itself as taking that next step as well.
I agree.
And so this is a big game for both sides. I do feel like, I've been really impressed with Keaton Slovis the last 2 weeks, though. And especially when they got down towards the end of that game, it started looking like Arkansas was going to pull away. He didn't really blink either. We talked about that with the Colorado with Colorado and Shedeur Sanders. Keaton Slovis has shown that his experience matters and that he looked pretty comfortable in on the road in SEC country at that.
Yeah, he's not intimidated by anybody, right? He started at USC and was there for basically 2 solid years. The Pitt year I would sort of throw away. That one was sort of taken away from him because of Jordan Addison leaving and going to USC. So he did the best he could. But at BYU, the one thing that they need to do is get those wide receivers going. That's one thing that they still haven't picked up. We've got 4 receivers right now that all could be number ones on other schools' league or on other schools' teams, and so they got to open it up. If they don't get at least 200 yards in the air, they're probably not going to win this game. And they need another 100 or so on the ground, but they're never going to be the stat whores that you might find at other schools. Daniels is going to light up anybody they play. And I think if they do win, it's going to be a shootout, probably 31-27, something like that. If they lose, it'll probably be by more than 14 points. I don't think there's an in-between there. I think they either win a close one or they get blown out. That's how I see this game.
I would probably agree with that 100%. If they win it, it's going to be close. If they lose it, it's going to be by a bigger margin. Yeah. Agreed. And it's a true test. I mean, I think Kansas brings a true test to the table, but sure. I just think it's going to be a great ball game.
Well, let's project a little bit. Oh, sorry, Jason.
No. I was just saying I agree. I think it's going to be a heck of a game because I think that BYU is going to come into this thing looking, hungry to win, and they're not going to look ahead of their first opponent in the conference.
No, not at all.
And even that, and they're not, you don't see them really getting a big head over the Arkansas game. I think whenever you didn't have, the top running back with Arkansas and stuff, there's a lot of things that could have probably went the other way, but they stayed in it. I was one of the people that said, this is one of those games that you probably would pick BYU on that money line because of the fact that, when you look you've got the 3 points baked into that spread generally, basically was a pick 'em. It was definitely worth, making that bet if you were going to make it. And, I definitely expected them to play and be in this game. It's particularly even after getting killed last year. Look, you have to expect that, that there's a lot of pride there, right? And, they're trying to prep. And again, I think that Slovis had showed the week before that he was a little better than what we saw in week 1.
Sure.
And, it is
and LJ Martin, that true freshman from Texas, running back, he has a little wiggle in him. He's one of these guys that he's slow. He doesn't hit the hole. He doesn't just run into the backs of the linemen. He actually will wait for the hole to open up, and then he goes. He just gashes. He's not one of these guys that's going to be left and right runner. He wants to go north-south. And again, this for BYU is going to be control the clock, get some turnovers, And this is a problem where in the turnover battle, because Kansas gets turnovers like crazy too. So this game, I don't know. The line right now is like 9.5. I think that's crazy. Just like last week with Arkansas, I don't know that you'd have to score 10 points. Maybe it is possible you're more 10 points than the other team, but I just think these two teams are so similar that I don't know that happens.
Yeah, I kind of expect this one to be, going into the wire as well. I really do. And look, the one thing that I'm not sure that Kansas is really going to be great at is on defense, right?
Right.
I think that the defensive on defense, you definitely probably have an edge at BYU. That being said, I would say that they have the edge at quarterback too. So, because he can hurt you in more than one way. And I like Slovis, but I also say that, with Jalen Daniels, I think he's definitely one of the better quarterbacks in the country. He's one of those guys that can kill you in multiple ways. He does have to keep himself out of harm's way, I think, a little bit, but I'm looking forward to a pretty good game with this one, man. I really am.
Well, and KJ Jefferson at Arkansas is a monster.
What a stud, right?
6'4", 245. It was like trying to tackle the biggest tight end you've ever seen in your life. So BYU closed him down, and he didn't get off at all. They did have that one long run at the beginning of the game where he just hit the hole perfect, and it was a great run block. And I don't want to take anything away from that play, but after that play, the rest of the game, it wasn't so much those guys getting out on the edge, and he didn't break the game open like he did in Provo last year. So they're not the same. Daniels is a much more athletic guy, but I'm just saying BYU's defense is wrapping up. There's not a lot of missed tackle, and if you can keep those yards after catch low, you're gonna have a better chance to win. That you win third downs if you do that.
Can we borrow your defense this weekend?
Yeah, boy, let's talk about Notre Dame. Let's do that. Let's see. So Ohio State, Notre Dame. I wasn't here though, Coach. Just give me your 2 minutes of why Notre Dame beats Ohio State this weekend. Sam
Hartman. I'm done.
Okay. All right.
I think he's the difference maker, and obviously Audric Estime and our offensive line. But we've got to play defense. We've got to, deadgum. Ohio State, I think we got the lead with the quarterback. I think we have a better quarterback than they do this time around.
Right.
And we got to stop their receivers, but I feel pretty good about our defensive backs at this juncture. But we do have to apply some pressure to that young quarterback. And I'm not saying, we talked about the pass efficiency being important and not necessarily getting sacks, but he needs to feel uneasy back there and hopefully throw some picks and some turnovers. So, but I feel good. I still think I believe it's going to be a 3-point ball game. I'm not sure which way. I think it's going 3 points one way or the other.
So last possession of the game type game.
Could be.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. And the one thing, I think like he was saying, really when you have Sam Hartman and then Audric Estime, man, that guy has been something else, this season. But I think that the reason that I feel like I like them in this game is their physicality. That Notre Dame is more physical this season than I've seen them in a long time, and I think that they've taken on that defensive demeanor of their head coach. I just think that they're going to be on another level. But I right here, I actually in your game, I probably would go with, because it's a home game. I probably the edge goes to Kansas a little bit with me and Jalen Daniels, but this is another one of those games I wouldn't be overly surprised if BYU went in there and found a way to win it.
So let me ask you guys a question. Do you guys think if BYU wins this game, how does the rest of the season go for them? Because if they get on a roll, their next 2 games are at home. They play Cincinnati, and then they play Iowa State, right? Or I might have that backwards. But they could be out the gate 6 games without a loss if they win this game.
And Bomber, Jason and I talked about this, about BYU a lot from from back when we were in Dallas at the Big 12 media days. And we like what we heard. We like what we see. And if they win this ball game, they're going to be tough to beat.
I think so too.
Opinion.
Yeah, I think so too. I think if you look at it, you got Cincinnati at home. We're going to find out a little bit more about them. I thought that they might be a little better than we initially expected, and then they turned around and lost to Miami of Ohio last week at home. So I'll be there this weekend. I'll be able to tell you what they look like coming into next week. But I think obviously they haven't played and dealt with a game. It's going to be a late game there too with Cincinnati at BYU next week. You go on the road after that to play at TCU. I think that I don't think that TCU is the same football team as last year. I think they're dangerous, but but even if you were to, let's say you get through, you've got Tech at home after that. That's probably going to be another nighttime game, I would guess, right? Yes. Depending on how they open up Big 12 play as well. But I think that you're probably going to end up with a couple of night games there. Then you go on the road to Texas. I think if you get to Texas with no more than one conference loss, you're in the thick of it where you need to be.
Right. Yeah.
I
think you're right. I think you're right.
Even if you were to lose this weekend, if you take care of business the next 3 weeks, then, you go into that Texas game and look, Texas isn't unbeatable. I think that they have kind of shown both, they beat Alabama. And, one of the things I said last week is don't tell me how great you are and don't whine about not getting your flowers about winning on the road at Bama.
Wyoming should have beat them
first.
Wyoming had them beat.
Yeah, listen, it was 10-10 going into the fourth, right?
Yeah.
10-10 going into the fourth. And, they rattled off that points, but you can't just play that way and expect to, and this is what Texas does a lot of times. So again, I'm of the opinion that you still got to show me when you're Texas. So
I'm just waiting for the game they piss down their leg, because
exactly, and that could definitely be against BYU.
Yeah.
It could definitely
it can be against anybody. They're going to piss down.
It could be this week. It could be this week against Baylor, although I doubt it. Because
are they at Baylor or are they in Austin?
They're at Baylor, but Baylor's bad, man.
Yeah, Baylor they're disappointing this year. I don't know how Aranda gets through this season, to be honest. If he stays, I'll be really kind of surprised.
My concern is that you're going to get to that Oklahoma game where they're going to be on the road November 18th.
Right.
You don't have any more than 2 losses, and it's going to be very important for OU to win. And that's probably the toughest game that OU is going to get on the road this season.
Don't you think that game is going to draw some numbers? There's going to be some people watching that game in November. I think that game will be a big draw for sure.
Of course. And look, I suspect that BYU is going to be in it. It looks like it shapes up pretty good. You got some tough games coming up.
Sure.
Texas Tech, I don't think is, I think that they're better than, I really think they ought to go to their backup quarterback, but I think that they're still tough out. They, and they need to kind of turn it around sometimes. And this is a problem for Tech, is when they kind of have this kind of season, this kind of start, it's rare that they flip it around. So I like Joey McGuire a lot, but I think it's just one of those things that's really hard to change the culture in a place like Lubbock, right? I think it is. So we'll find out. TCU, again, I felt like they were going to have a hangover anyway. I already know that they don't want to deal with your fans there, and so you guys are probably going to show up in droves in Fort Worth. That should be a fun game as well.
Well, you heard what TCU did, right? They took all their season tickets.
Trying to keep them from going, right?
They did lock them down. But if you saw us, all those extra market tickets we bought in Arkansas, there was a good, I would say, 8,000 fans in a 75,000 fan or stadium. That might not seem like a lot, but at the end of the game, you heard a lot of BYUs. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
So BYU travels and they pack stadiums.
Oh, absolutely. No, we've talked about it a lot before. It's kind of similar to Notre Dame. They're a national brand, a national team that has a lot of fans everywhere, and that includes living in Dallas, Fort Worth.
Right.
They're all over the world for that matter. So I expect I think that, like I said, if you can get to that Texas game with no more than one loss, I think you're right in the thick of it. And if so we'll kind of wait and see. But I haven't been one of those folks that believes in the rest of the newbies of the league right now. I think that UCF will have their day because of where they are recruiting wise and what they can do there. I think Houston probably will as well when Dana's gone. And then I kind of feel the same way about Satterfield in Cincinnati, but then again, he knows that you got to work the portal as well, and they're a proud program there. So we're going to find out something about them this weekend. We're gonna find out a little bit about the Bearcats. But hey, look, I'm excited about what we're gonna about this conference season getting started, man. I really am.
No doubt, absolutely. Yeah, I think everybody.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Finish what
I was just going to say, I really appreciate you having me on your show, and it's been nice to be part of your culture because I get to talk to these other people that are in these other schools and conferences, and that means a lot to me. So I just appreciate you inviting me, Jason.
Man, I love having you on, Bomber.
Yeah.
Man, you're one of my faves, man. And
you're awesome, dude.
You guys' show has been awesome, as well. I wish I was be able to jump on with you guys more.
I know we're really, but you and Coach are, all over the place. So I totally understand why that is, but we probably could make a better effort, you and I, to do things a little bit different. So I'll sort of go back to my professor desk and see if I can't work it out. We can do more shows together.
Let's figure something out. Let's figure something out to at least one or the other gets us on weekly or something like that.
I think that would be cool.
Start doing these game day deals every week, and actually we'd love to have Wild Ute on as well. They've got some big games coming up as well.
Absolutely.
We'd like to have him come on as well and talk to us a little bit about Utah. I'm a fan of Coach Witt and what they've done as a program as well. So, and even Immaculate and Moen too. I like your whole crew of guys that are on your show a lot, man. They do a good job.
They really do. I've got the best group, and I wouldn't be having as much fun if they weren't part of it. So I need to pass on a message from Immaculate. He really wants to do more shows like this. So if you're looking for somebody for analysis and stuff, definitely send him a DM and Twitter, and he would love to be more active.
Send him an invite as well. I'm going to be on for a little while longer. Coach isn't.
Okay.
So I'll actually send him an invite right now if he's willing to come on.
I'll send him a text right now and let him know you're looking for him.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Hey, I'm headed to go coach my potential Super Bowl team.
Okay. All right.
I got a little flag football team that
I love it.
My grandson plays on, and so we got practice here coming up pretty quick. So we got our butts kicked in our scrimmage the other night, 24-6 in the scrimmage. But
that's how you win,
lost.
Though.
But you know what? We lost last year's scrimmage too, and ended up in the Super Bowl. So we use our scrimmage to learn about ourselves, not like those other groups that are trying to win the scrimmage and think that's the damn Super Bowl.
So Jason, I need you to get me Coach's address. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I need to send him a rally flag too.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, I'll do that. I'll get that for you.
Okay.
Okay. And, have a good one, guys.
All right. We'll see you later, Coach.
Okay.
Go Irish. Jason, when are you leaving?
Tomorrow. I got to be out of here by about 10 at the latest, I think.
Okay. Hey, I hope it all goes really well and be safe. And lastly, go Irish.
All right. We'll see you later, Coach. Good to see you. Thank you.
Good seeing you.
All right. Talk to you soon.
All right, Jason. I got to go.
Hey, tell everybody real quick how to find you there before you take off.
You bet. So I got a couple shows on YouTube, Big 12 Mafia and the Holy Rivals. Both of them cover college football wall to wall. We don't discriminate, talk about everything. Got a bunch of stuff on realignment that we talk about. We talk about high level news type items, not just ball games. So if you're interested, you could follow me on Twitter. It's at B12 Mafia, B12 Mafia. And just check me out, follow me there, and we'll sort of go for it.
Hey, awesome, man. And again, we appreciate having you on, and I will send that over real quick.
Okay, great. All right, we'll see you guys later.
If he wants to jump on. All right.
Have a good weekend. Good luck, Oklahoma. And we'll talk to you soon.
Excited. I haven't been to a game since last year, so I'm excited, ready to rock and roll.
I'm excited for you. Have fun.
All right, man. Thank you. Have a good one.
See you later. Peace.
Bye-bye. Thanks again to Nathan Bomber Brown and the coach for coming in. Folks, KG, thank you for coming into the show. And I know, and thank you for being, putting up with a lot of this stuff. This is kind of what you're going to get here. But folks, let's go a little easy on the conversation here. Okay. Chicken, do me a favor there. Don't go too far with the conversation. Okay. And same with you. Listen, it is what it is. And look, you're welcome into our show anytime, but you just know that you are going to catch some stuff for Lincoln. And I don't know what you would expect otherwise. The guy's been taking shots at OU since he left. And, and this last week, seeing that interview upset a lot of people because, there's no police reports out there about these supposed death threats or breaking into their home and all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, they lived in a gated community, which seems odd to me. But he continues to talk about Oklahoma an awful lot in a negative way. And so this is kind of what you're going to get here. Just kind of the way it is. And I don't really, I think the guy's pretty slimy. And I think at some point you'll understand what we're talking about. But hey, thanks a lot, everybody, for coming in. I hope you did hit that like button or even the dislike button on your way in. I would like to, again, thank our guests so far that have been here. David Neill, the coach, obviously, being my co-host. We love having him on and his insight into college football. And then, enjoy having Bomber on as well. I am going to go ahead and send that invite. Hey, Shawty, are you still here? Love to have you on if you want to jump in as well, but I'm going to get what I'm going to do is get Immaculate to come on real quick as well. He is an Iowa fan. We could talk a little Big Ten, which most of us not huge fans of, I know, but let's see. Where's Ole Immaculate? Where is he? There he is. Just gonna let him know there. Another way that you can, of course, support the show, everybody. No hate from my end. Love all you guys. Good luck. Thank you. Hey, I appreciate you saying that, man. No worries. Yeah, I know. And it is good. I was just messing around mostly, but you know that. And hey, now I'm not hating anything. I'm not. I understand. And I agree that I understand why, why, hey, there's my son. Y'all get him. Get this one. This is my son, CJ. Welcome to the show, kid. Glad to have you on. Why didn't we talk? We did talk about Coach Prime. You came in late, obviously. Coach Prime has done his thing. They got a tough game coming up tomorrow or on Saturday against Oregon on the road. This is their biggest test of the season so far. The week after that, they will have USC as well. Yeah, but we talked about them 30 minutes ago. If you weren't late, you'd have caught it all. You're just going to have to, it's how it is, son. Am I the only one that found it funky that a bomber would want an address? Yeah. Hi-yo. That was funny, man. Good stuff. Yeah, give CJ a hard time as much as possible, though. No, thanks, son, for coming in. If you'd like to join the show, I'd love to introduce you to everybody. So I'm going to actually drop that in here. I'm going to drop that in there. CJ, if you want to jump on, you can. Shawty, if you still here, hop in. And we'll talk a little bit. We'll see if we get Immaculate over here in a couple of minutes. Yeah, but we do. Hey, look, if you would like to support the show, we have multiple ways for you to do so. Hey, become a channel member first and foremost. You can do that just by for the price of, well, about half the price of one of your Starbucks coffees, jump on and go to CFB-pod/join, become a channel member, a member of the Big 12 Mafia. For just $3 a month, you can become a member of the Mafia. Lots of perks that come with that. Part of our Discord, you can get some of our members only content that we put out there. I've been doing some writing a little bit. There's going to be some stuff that will be for members only coming up soon. We will have some members only streams once a month. In fact, we're going to do a members only stream next week after I get back from Cincinnati. So, hey, if you want to get in on that, make sure that you jump in there. Again, it's at CFB-pod on YouTube /join. Again, it's less than half the cost of one of your Starbucks coffees, and it helps the channel so very much. We also have official podcast merchandise, including our SUC wear, our horns down gear as well, and along with quite a few other things, our Hall of Fame Mafia shirts. There's the 5 Bs of Oklahoma as well. Get in there, check that out. It's hofmedia.us/pod-merch right above me on the right side of your screen. If you are one of those tailgaters, you like smoking meat or cooking on the grill, make sure to go check out Louisiana Grills through our link and get $100 off all grills that are within their Black Label line. Unbelievable equipment there. You can they make smoking very easy with their apps and some of their other stuff. It's amazing stuff. And then, of course, your official license gear. Hey, hofmedia.us/fanatics. Get up to 65% off everything for your favorite team just by using that link. Up to 65% off. A lot of times you get free shipping. You're not going to get a better deal on the Fanatics website anywhere else than through our link. Make sure you check that out as well. Hey, the free way to make sure that you're supporting the channel, just make sure you hit that like button. Like I said, wipe your feet before you come in this house. All right. Thanks a lot for everybody coming in here. Let's talk a little bit about Oklahoma this weekend. We talked a little bit about it on the show last night with, talking about Danny Okoye making his commitment to the Sooners. Another huge get, by the way, for this Brent Venables, Todd Bates staff. These guys, Miguel Chavis, these dudes know what they're doing on the recruiting trail, right? And on that defensive line. It's been pretty impressive to watch, and they were getting there and getting in the house to be able to talk to some of these kids, but a lot of folks were starting to get a little antsy of them not getting them home. To me, I feel like this is, that they've made quite a bit of progress to get there, coming off of a 6 and 7 season, right? Again, I would tell you that Danny Okoye, they said that, we were talking, and if you were watching Ty's show, he was talking about how Nick Saban made sure to, make a beeline over to him when he was at Alabama, let him know how important he would be to the Crimson Tide. So beating these guys, for guys like David Stone, for guys like Nigel Smith, who I still believe is the 5-star talent as well. He's 6'5", 260 pounds right now as a high school kid, dominating at that level. He is one of those versatile guys. You can either play the 2 and 3 technique, or you can move him out to the outside to the DN. But Danny Okoye is another one of those guys, violent, plays with violence, speed, and strength. And, when you add that to the guys that they already had there, what a freaking amazing line. The power line that they've been talking about, man. And this is just, I can only imagine what this team is going to look like in a couple of years defensively, which we know going into the SEC, it takes more than a fancy offense like what you have out there at SC or SUC, as we say. And I think there's a reason why Lincoln ran off from that. Nobody's unhappy that he's gone. Everybody's happy that Brent Venables is in the house. Now, Nigel Smith and Okoye are both 5 stars. I agree. I think that they're both 5-star talents. Again, you know, and if you're not one of those guys that hits a lot of camps and stuff like that, it's going to be hard for you to get that 5-star status. If you're not paying to go to the 247 camps and all of them, rivals and stuff, that's a lot of the way that they get that. Now, when you're as good as they are, they're obviously going to put you up there. I wouldn't be super surprised as the season goes on if you ended up seeing a couple of those guys become 5 stars, either one of them or both, right? I do really feel like, you know, you've got, well, give me the name of the, oh man, I'm freaking forgetting the guy from that plays with Stoney there at IMG, but Jaden. There's another guy that, you know, he was in the 3 stars, but every time I've watched David Stone play, I'm always blown away by what Jaden does. He's unbelievable, right? So it's exciting to see this thing coming together. You know, it's just been a lot of fun to watch, man. A lot of fun to watch. Let's see. Now, coming up into this weekend, from what I've been can tell from talking and seeing some of the stuff that you see out of Cincinnati, Twitter, and of course on YouTube as well, is that they're going to struggle in the secondary, and they've done a good job with stopping the run a little bit, I think, but of course they hadn't played a great running team yet either. That being said, they haven't done a great job with pass rush. And when you don't have a great pass rush and you're a little suspect in the secondary, I expect that Oklahoma needs to come out firing. As I was saying on the show yesterday with Jay and Coop, I would not push the issue of trying to establish the run first. Whatever they're going to give you and whatever you can get first, I would go after the pass first, you know, get them on their heels. Then you can worry about, you know, balancing it out with the run. They have done a good job so far in balance, and I expect that that's just kind of going to be held. Yeah, Jaden Jackson has been unbelievable, right? But I think that this is what you want to see. And as we were talking about on Chris's show on Saturday, this is where you expect to see this maturity kind of come out. I'm looking forward to being there in the stadium. I've heard that Nippert Stadium is an amazing place to go watch a game. Cincinnati's got, you know, that's a proud program. And of course, this being their first game in the Big 12, I expect that you're going to get all the effort that you could possibly get out of it. This is where Oklahoma needs to continue to do what they've done already, right? They've already, up to this point, they've been very good at doing what they need to do, beating teams the way they need to beat them. If you're better, you need to go in there and handle business, right? And I feel like that's one of the things. Let it fly. Yeah. Hey, look, I'm with you. I don't think that, you know, there's more than one way, you know, to skin a cat, and there's a lot of ways to get this done. It's like we were talking about last night. I still feel like if you don't have to force feed your running backs, you know, to run up the middle, get them on the edges, you know, get them into the bubble screens and stuff like that. If they're not great from side to side, you need to make sure that you're making them move side to side like Coop was talking about. But again, my thing is that you go out there and you just, you know, treat it like a business trip and get out there and handle your business and, you know, show that you do have, you know, that you're able to get out there. No, don't play with your food. Go kick their ass and let's get it going. You know, you don't have to do the vanilla stuff anymore at this point. It's conference season. It's time to get after it and get every win that you possibly can. If there is an opportunity for this Oklahoma team to make the, you know, the Big 12 championship and possibly the CFP, they're going to have to not lose more than one game. And that means that you got to beat Texas or you can't lose to anyone else. You know, so this is the first step at that, you know, and that's the whole deal. You need to be in that conference championship game. And I feel like that's what needs to happen for this football team moving forward. I really do. You know, I think, and I honestly think that Texas needs to step up and be in that conference championship game as well. I don't think that BYU is going to be an easy out. I'm not sure that Cincinnati's going to be an easy out either. And we know that K-State's not going to be. But with K-State losing to Missouri last week, it kind of showed a little chink in the armor. It made me wonder why they kind of let them hang around the way they did. And to me, it looked like Drink was trying to give the damn thing away all the way down to the end. KG, if he wasn't afraid of the SEC, he wouldn't be at USC. Plain and simple. He's gotten drugged by the SEC in that playoff, and he knows what's going to happen with his offense there. His mentor was getting drugged most of the time there, too. 1-0 for 12 weeks. Hey, yep, you got to go 1-0 for 12 weeks. Hey, we'll see what happens there, right? We'll see what happens there. And I'm going to tell you, man, I don't see that in this season. I think that KG, I'm going to tell you, I think that they lose minimum 3, but I've been saying 8 and 4, and I see that going down. That's just going to be how it is. You guys don't have enough defense, and you know they've proven that when you get in a close game, they can lose. So that's my prediction there for your boy. Riley's a good offensive coach. He is. He's a good offensive coach. He's not great at anything else. He's not great at anything else. They're not great on special teams. You know, he's a great OC. Look, man, we've seen this movie before. That's all I'm going to say to you. That's all I'm going to say to you guys, man. So Tide, welcome to the show. How do you say that? I got to roast some. I'm just going to call you Tide, man. Yeah, no, you don't. You haven't played anybody to show that, right? You played the worst team in Power 5, and Nevada actually had more yards and points on you than they did against a freaking FCS team. We'll see at the end of the year what kind of defense they got. It's not going to change. I'm going to tell you, man, we've seen this movie an awful lot of times. An awful lot of times. We will wait and see. But yeah, they've got an electric electric returner. Hey, I'll tell you what, they when it comes to offensive guys and stuff, but you know, they'll make some mistakes there on special teams too. Again, we've seen this game. We've seen this movie before. But you know, we're not going to make this about those guys this week. We're just not going to do it. All right. They do have some amazing offensive weapons, man, and that I'll tell you what, that freshman, he's unreal. And Caleb Williams, I've said it. I still think he's the best player in college football, if you know, aside from possibly Travis Hunter. You know, I've just seen it. Yeah, we've seen it, as Jay would say. Major injuries, worried about UCF. Yeah, you think that's going to go down. So what's up with that? You think? I don't think that, but I'm not sure that Plumlee's going to be back for this game, right? I don't think he is. He was out, and you know, he can't throw either. So I wouldn't. I'm telling you, I think that Boise State game, I mean, they escaped with that kick and everything else, but I think they're going to have a rough time. I really do. I think they're going to have a rough time. And so, you know, this first season out. Now, I do expect UCF to be a major pain in the ass for everybody moving forward as they, you know, get better recruits and get that bump that you're starting to see some of these other teams get. And recruiting out of Florida, they've already done a good job with some of the guys that are, you know, kind of the leftover guys or whatever, you know. The only thing that I would say about, you know, talking about Bear Alexander is the guy plays 30 snaps, you know, and they don't have you know, there's not a ton of depth there, right? And how do you let some of the guys, like, how do you let, you know, someone like Uyunglele get out of town, you know, from your defense there, you know? And you, to me, that's tough. You know, you let him get off to Oregon instead. Mateo, that's crazy to me, you know, and that tells you a lot about what people think about the way they play defense around there. And that's where you're going to struggle. You're going to have a great quarterback all the time because he is the quarterback whisperer. He definitely, I would tell you that you're always going to have a good quarterback and you're going to scheme offense as good as anybody. No doubt about it. Defensively, you know, Alex Grinch hasn't been good anywhere. They they wanted to burn his damn house down at Ohio State. And OU fans were about there too at that point. So that's my thing. Yeah. Against who though? Against who, Cog? Against who? That we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out here. They still haven't beaten Utah, and he's gotten against them twice with the Heisman Trophy winner. Couldn't beat Utah. They didn't have to play Washington or Oregon. Washington is a problem for everybody. If there's a wide receiver room that rivals the one at Ohio State, it's at UW. Penix is legit. He's been unbelievable, right? And they have an unbelievable receiving core. Texas, I would say, is another one of those schools that has an unbelievable receiving core as well. Yeah, look, there's it's big time. We'll see, right? Yeah, invented defense. We're getting back to those days. Yeah, I'm excited about that. That's when you look at you now have 5 blue chip defensive linemen in this class alone. And then you had a blue chip defensive lineman, a 5-star plus guy in last class as well, and PJ Adebawari. Peyton Bowen as well, I think he's going to be a freshman All-American. I think that he looks better and better week after week, and yeah, OU's going to be the real deal on defense. Definitely. Tell us about Tide. Tell me what's going on with Alabama. Are they going to get it together and beat Ole Miss this weekend? What's your thoughts on that? That was one of the games that I think that's another. I think my question would be to you guys in the audience too about that game. And you saw where, I don't know if you guys all saw where kind of, Lane Kiffin being Lane Kiffin definitely was trying to troll a little bit. And he actually got Coach Saban to acknowledge it, talking about who was calling the plays on defense last week. And it kind of pissed Coach Saban off. And he was doing that on purpose, which I think is funny. But all right, man. Have a good one. I would say good luck, but we don't want y'all to win. Yeah, I don't know if he's going to beat him or not either. I think that, and it kind of, that was the question I was going to ask, is with all this trolling, and he seems to do it once a year or whatever, and trying to get under Saban's skin, and everybody's skin for that matter, which I love that about Kiffin, by the way. But at some point, you're going to need to win one of these games, right? I kind of feel like that's one of those things that you're going to have to win one of these games. So that's just kind of my deal. I wouldn't be super surprised if they don't, but as I said, they just seem to come up small. Miss seems to come up small in these games, and it is in Tuscaloosa. I don't think that the one thing that I would say is, and I'm going to ask you again, Tide, what you think about this, but what is it with I mean, if you're going to use Milroe, you don't want him just throwing. I would want him running the ball. Let him go be who he is. And Tommy Rees isn't doing that. It doesn't make sense to me. I would hope that they get that together, because I still expect them to win the West. But the more I see games, the more I see that quarterback room, the less I like it. We're expecting real Bama to show up, but I wouldn't bet on it at all. Yeah, well, I definitely wouldn't do that. Yeah, I would hope so. Yeah, and that's what you kind of want, right? I mean, I kind of think about I would not call McNamara a great quarterback either at Michigan, right? But he can throw it deep, and they're going to establish the run and just kind of ugly the game up. When they had to, hit them deep when nobody was expecting them to do it against Ohio State, what did they do? He threw deep balls, right? I thought that was smart on that play, or in that, having that thought pattern in doing it that way. But that's just my feelings on it. I do feel like that's one of those deals where they should be. That's the kind of game plan I would want if I'm Nick Saban right now. Let's ugly this game up. Let's take our shots deep when we can, and you still. I mean, because you've got the number one talent roster in the country. Period. So it seems odd to me that you wouldn't, right? The line is the problem too, though. I think that they're a little bigger. They're big, but they don't seem to move very well, right? But I don't think they've put him in great positions, right? And he didn't get to play much last week, if at all. What was up with that? There's people saying that he got suspended or something like that. Do you believe that? I tend to doubt it. He was awfully hyped up on the sidelines for Ty Simpson whenever he threw that touchdown last week. Pretty weird. It doesn't seem like him either, but I don't know. Man. I think that more than anything, they have a problem. McCarthy is who I meant, but McNamara is now the guy at Iowa. You're right. What's up, Coach I? You want to jump on? Jump on. I wanted to ask you a little bit about Bama and stuff too, and what's going on with Georgia this week, as well as some of these other SEC games. I wanted to talk to you about South Carolina and FSU. Jump in here, please. The Mafia wants to hear from you. All right, yeah. Let's see. Kind of take a look in here. Where are we? 25. We've got 32 likes. We've had upwards of. Let's see who else has been in there. There he is, Coach I, into the show.
What up?
Man, how you doing?
Hey man, just got off of David's show, man. Hey man, what y'all talking about up in here, man?
We are talking a little bit of everything. We've kind of went through. We talked a little bit about that Ohio State Notre Dame game. I was going to get your pick on that. We've also talked about a little bit of that CU Oregon game as well. We had David come on here right before he met up with you, and so good stuff there as well.
Steve B, Hank, Kim, what's good? Mars, what up?
Everybody's showing you the love. Why is it always so dead in here? It's not dead in here, man. We usually talk a lot of trash, bro.
Hey, man.
We usually talk a lot of trash. And I was trying to keep it a little chill because the SC guy generally gets people wound up in here. And, it was getting a little crazy. But no, man, look, I'm excited about the week. I think this is a hell of a week for college football, right?
Listen, I mean, if you're just going based off the slate of games, this is the best week so far. I mean,
I think so.
There's 6 top 25 matchups. Come on, man. It's college football, baby.
A lot of really good football, man. I mean, and let's we can run through that little list there. I mean, hell, you've got and I would say that Clemson just out of the top 25 at this point, but that's another one. That would be.
Listen, especially how Florida State looked last Saturday. Chicken, what up?
I was
wondering. Right? I was gonna ask where Chicken was, but he says that he was in timeout. Okay, yeah, what Chicken?
He wasn't in timeout. He was not in timeout.
It wouldn't surprise me. Chicken, my guy.
He was a little. You're not in timeout, Chicken. Crazy. It's that one word that I saw you throw in there. I was just warning you a little bit. Hey. All right, that Utah-UCLA game. Listen, UCLA beat Utah last season. I think that's a big-time game as well.
I think that's one of the games that people are sleeping on, to be real with you.
I do too. Well, when you've got the obviously the Ohio State Notre Dame game. I mean, that's the marquee game of the weekend for sure.
Facts.
2 teams in the top 10, and then obviously hey, CU is taking the country by storm. And they're up to 19 going into Autzen Stadium at Oregon.
Oh, it's down to 19 because it started out at 21.
Now listen, man, it's oh no, I don't. No, I was saying they're.
Oh, you talking about the ranked? Okay,
yeah,
they're talking about the spread.
They're a 3 touchdown dog, and I think that's wild.
Oh, I took them to cover. I took them to cover. Easy.
I do too, and I'm not positive that they win. I think that's one of the hardest places in the country to win games,
regardless of who you are.
They're going to be there in the end of it. I think that they're going to take it down. I could see maybe losing by 10. I would probably max it out there. I think that they're going to have an opportunity late in the game, though. When you saw what they did against Texas Tech.
That's what I'm saying. So I did a show with Ryan, my guy, Oregon guy, and David. I talked about that a little bit. I went back and watched that Oregon Texas Tech game, and I can tell you this: Dan Lanning likes to blitz his linebackers, but every defensive coordinator, defensive head coach, defensive-minded head coach wants to get pressure with just 3 or 4. And I can tell you, against Texas Tech, if they wasn't bringing 5 or extra pressure from somewhere, they wasn't getting home. And you can't not get home against Shedeur. You know what I'm saying? You got to get pressure on Shedeur. So I feel like this. Colorado's going to be the best offense that Oregon has seen. And Oregon's going to be the best defense that Colorado has seen. That's what I think is going to happen. So.
Yeah, definitely. I think so too. But I think that they also gave up a lot of points. Of course, it was on the road, but they gave up a lot of points to Tech and a quarterback that is not as good as Shedeur.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I think, like I said, I think this is going to be a shootout. I'm thinking like, mid 40s to mid 30s type deal. I don't know. Colorado definitely doesn't need to start slow. The one thing I told David on his side is I do wonder anytime you have a super huge emotional win and then you come out the next week. I mean, they're 18 to 22-year-olds. Yeah. I mean, look at how Texas came out against whoever, Sisters of the Poor, they played right after Alabama, and while CSU wasn't that elite of a team, it was still a very emotional game. I mean, he almost got to come into blows before the game. You had to hit on Travis Hunter. It was a double overtime thriller. Come on, man.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So going to, the chicken going to ain't you going to that, Jason?
I am. I'm going to see chicken out there when I get there, man. It's cool.
Because you're doing a live stream, right? Out there? Are you setting up somewhere?
I am going to set up out there. I think we're going to see what happens with. I think I should be able to set up though. Getting just because the hotel is right outside of the campus there.
Okay.
Apparently, you got to walk in. So I don't know. We'll probably do an early live stream, but it's an early game too. So it's we'll probably jump in there, do an early live stream. But a lot of what I was trying to do today was kind of get some clips that I can throw together. So that I can, we can jump on, we can have some interviews already in there and stuff because, it's kind of a pregame show for what we're doing on that. So, it's cool. But yeah, listen, we're excited, man. I'm excited to get to meet Chicken and some of and I hope, I get to meet some more of the Mafia out there. I think Lori may be out there as well. So,
dope.
We'll see kind of what happens. Yeah, it'll be kind of cool.
I've been to Cincinnati.
I'm excited,
cool
man.
little town.
I'm excited.
Cool town. A lot of hills in Cincinnati, so be careful where you
there?
park.
Yeah, because I hear Ohio's kind of flat.
I haven't been outside of Cincinnati, but Cincinnati's like when I went, it was one of my best friend's sister was going master's program at Cincinnati. I just remember everywhere we went, it was a hill. I'm like, we got to park on the hill everywhere we go. So
right. I used to have a friend that was that lived out there in Cincinnati.
Okay.
In fact, he was my co-host last year. He lives in Phoenix now, but he used to live out there in Cincinnati as well. He said he liked it out there. So it's I don't know about that. Have you tried the Skyline chili and all that kind of stuff? Did you try it while you were out there? I didn't try it. I haven't tried
it. That time I was just kind of in and out. I actually have been to another part of Ohio though. Like what is the part that LeBron is from? We played in his Akron, bro. You talking about don't go there, bro. It's nothing. Joakim Noah wasn't lying, bro. There's nothing to do.
No, it's hard to be worse than Cleveland, but it is.
But dog, I'm telling you, I was like, bro, there's nothing out here, dog. It's just basketball. That's it. Yeah, man. Some big matchups this weekend, dog. I'm so looking forward to this Saturday. Awesome. Money line on my parlay. You guys are 14.5 or 16.5 favorites. Which one?
It was 14.5 is what I saw earlier.
Okay.
That's what I saw last night when I was on with Shawty. So
okay.
I think they should look. here's
It's
the
a
thing.
hard game to read.
From what I can tell,
you guys are going to win, but
their toughness, where their best is probably in stopping the run, but they're not very good in rushing the quarterback, and they're not very good in the secondary. So I feel like I know that they want to try to establish the running game. I think that the best way to do that in this case, and this is what we were talking about last night on the show, on Jay's show as well, was I think that you got to go out there and freaking hit them deep early. Go out there and hit the freaking passes, and that'll get them out of the box.
That'll back those safeties up, because if you can't take shots past 20, 25 yards, those safeties are going to keep creeping up. And that, I mean, you want them initially to creep up so you can hit them over the top. But if you can't go long and stretch that box, those safeties in the box is not what you want.
That's what I mean. You get out there, you hit it, and there's other ways. I've always been a fan of, and being a spread guy since I was in high school. We threw the ball a lot, but and a lot of people, well, you need to run more. You need to run more. And there were times that you do need to run more. But I also feel like you can be creative with your, hitting the underneath routes. Get your running backs out of the backfield, and that can be a part of your running game.
Yeah, screen games.
Yeah, screens, bubbles, a lot of little pitch outs and things like that, and even just your little wheel routes for running backs and stuff. I think that one of the things that I've liked the most is about Jeff Lebby's offense is he does a lot of those screens, around the line of scrimmage. So I like to see that, and I think that that's the best. But the one way, if you're going to be, you can't just try to force feed running backs through the whole through the line, through the interior of the line when you've got Dante Corleone there, that dude's a monster, he's a monster. So, and they've got a really good defensive line. So that's to me, I think that you have to try to draw them up and hit them deep early on. And I think that the passing game has been solid. I mean, shoot. Yeah, hell, I mean, Dylan Gabriel's been on fire, man. He's been an assassin and surgical so far. So
yeah, at Cincy, man, I think we're seeing the difference between what Luke Fickell did and what Jimbo did in Florida State. Jimbo leaves Florida State bare and in shambles because there was no foundation. But Fickell obviously left the foundation in Cincy. Not to say that they're as good, but they didn't just fall apart. You know what I'm saying? As soon as he left,
they did have to replace about 60% of their team, though. So
that's the only thing, but that's still that's even more to his, credit, you know what I'm saying? The fact that they're still good in the run and they lost that many people.
Right. And I think that after they lost to Miami of Ohio last week, that was probably them looking ahead.
It was,
you've got their full attention now. This is their first Big 12 game. But I think this is where, and this is something K. Chris and I talked about last week on his show, is this is where if you're Oklahoma, you need to show that you can go out there and handle your business in a game like this. This is a game that you need to win. This is a game that you need to cover in, There's no way that they're anywhere near as talented, whether at any position other than probably right at that defensive tackle position with Dante Corleone. Anywhere else, they don't have the edge.
Yeah, I think in the first quarter, with the new rules, the first down rules where the clock doesn't stop, not a lot of teams are getting a lot of possessions, you know what I'm saying? So I could see first quarter, maybe going into mid-second quarter, this game is, you guys are up like, 17-7 or something like that. And then at the end of the day, man, y'all just got more Jimmys and Joes than they do.
Exactly. So this is where you want to see them, we've talked about this. Is one of the things that I've been pleasantly surprised with, or I'm not necessarily surprised, but that Oklahoma has gone and done what they need to do against inferior opponents. And this is what you want to see them go do on the road. First real road test. You got to go and handle your business, show some maturity, get out there, handle your business and get out of there. It's a business trip for sure.
It's definitely a business trip. So, and I guess nobody you would rather have at the helm other than maybe Kirby Smart than Brent Venables going against a team that wants to run. Right. Those two guys just do not like teams to run on them.
No, and I think that's where you kind of worry about their quarterback is he can run a little bit, right?
Yeah.
He's going to be able to run a little bit. You saw him a little bit at Florida.
Mm-hmm. You got to make Emory Jones pass the ball.
You got to
like
make him a passer, man. You
Got to make him a passer.
Keep him in contained and make him beat you throwing the ball, and we have a good day.
If he gets his legs going, then that's how they stay. Like you said, that adds to the run game. But yeah, make him sit in that pocket. Keep your rush lane containment. Stay disciplined to your rush lanes, man, and make this dude throw the ball. That's a recipe for.
I think success. I think you have a good day. You do that, you can keep him from getting outside the pocket and hurting you with his legs. I think you have a good day.
Big
so and that was definitely one of the things that the first game of the Big 12 last year, against Adrian Martinez was a long day for Oklahoma. And they barely lost the game. But I mean, giving up like a 3rd and 27. This is where, obviously, I think that this defense is night and day better than the one from a year ago. Yeah. And they understand the 3-3-5. They have some bodies that can deal with the 3-3-5 now. They have the guys that can do it. So I'm excited about that. But we got to see it now. It's hard to take that step. And that's why I said, you want to be mature enough to get in there and handle your business. So that's my thought on it. I'm excited about it, though. I think that this is a big year for OU, and it looks like it's kind of wide open out there, man. It really does.
Hey, I can't lie, dog. It looks like it's about 10 teams, 10, 15 teams, maybe. Nobody has looked dominant in every single game. If somebody asked me if I had to name a number one right now, based off of what they've done and who they've done against, I say it have to be Washington. Washington. Yeah, Washington absolutely clobbered Boise State.
Earlier. I think that Penix is probably the Heisman leader right now at this point.
But they haven't struggled with anybody, No, and they've played two power. They played a Power 5 team on the road, and God, they whacked. I know Mel Tucker got fired and all, but they waxed Michigan State. They beat Boise like they stole something. I mean, yeah. So I don't know. They're going at it. I guess the Jason White's most recent. Doesn't
belong to him? What do you mean by that?
I'm assuming Heisman winners at Oklahoma. Or did Jason
Why
White
did it belong to him?
Didn't belong to
they got also though, but AD got screwed out of the Heisman next year. So freaking unbelievable freshman year, and they just didn't give the Heisman to freshmen back then.
Yeah, so but yeah, man, I'm looking forward to this weekend, dog. It's a big college football. Hey, they starting right now with Georgia State and Coastal. See, I'm the type of guy that when I get off of here, I'm gonna watch that.
Yeah. I'm the same way. Bro. I'll watch it all. I'm gonna be on the road early tomorrow, but I've got more stuff to do tonight. But I'm gonna be watching football for sure,
bro. That's always. It's not what I'm doing this on the weekends. It's where I'm doing it.
Where are you doing it? Yeah. Hey, did you get your rest back in since you got back from
bro?
Athens?
Listen, normally me and Stat Guy up doing some kind of content or talking about college football till about 2 a.m. every night. This week, bruh, I've been to bed 11:30, 11:45, 12. I've been in the bed like winding. I started winding down about 9:45, boy. Because I was just last week was such a it was a lot, you know what I'm saying? All the lives that I do. Then I was in Athens. That took a lot of energy, excitement, things of that nature. Then all day Saturday with the fellas drinking and then doing a live Saturday night. And then recording. We recorded 3 previews, or I recorded 3 previews for the week. One with David. I did the FSU Clemson, and then what else? South Carolina, Mississippi State. I was like, ooh, I gotta slow down, bro.
Right. Yeah, no doubt.
So I'm feeling good, man. Feeling good.
Let's see. All right. So what are you guys in there talking about? You guys are going back and forth with the Bama
guy. The Bama guy said he wanted to spice it up.
Yeah, spice it. Get spicy. I'll tell you this, man.
Spice it up.
Bob Stoops had 2 Heisman winners, but he should have had 3. That was the highway robbery when AD didn't get it that year. That's all I'm going to say about that. So whatever. Anyway, talk to me. Let's talk about this Ohio State and Notre Dame game, Coach. What are you thinking about it?
Oh man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I took Ohio State in this one. I think Kyle McCord being named the starter is gonna help that offense to come out of the funk whatever funk they were in. Now, what I do worry about, I guess you would say, with that pick, Notre Dame is really physical. And we've seen, how Michigan has done Ohio State being really physical. The good thing for them, there's no inclement weather or anything expected in at Notre Dame. But
somebody ought to leave the sprinklers on if they're at Notre Dame Stadium. I think,
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because if it ain't, if conditions ain't perfect, there's something about it. Ohio State just struggles. But I think Notre Dame will be able to run on them this year. Last year they kind of bottled up Estimate. But Notre Dame on reverse bottled up their offense. I think when Jackson Smith
21-10 last year, and they didn't have a guy that could throw it all.
Yeah, for sure. I think coming in, a lot of the even though as good as we know Marvin Harrison Jr. is, let's not forget that he came into that game as number 2. Jackson Smith and Jigba was number 1, and I know the game plan kind of got thrown off. I mean, Ryan Day's a great offensive mind, so he pulled it out, but I think a lot of that was he was taken back by not having Jackson Smith and Jigba. So I think it's gonna be a close game. I think the spread is right where it should be. I got Ohio State winning by like
it's like 4.5 or whatever.
Something close side. I think when the pick'em contest we're in, I think it was at 2.5 or 3.
Okay.
So, I took Ohio State in the 3. I was like, they can win by a field goal, but I think this is going to be, again, I think it's going to be one of the great games of the day. This Saturday is so good, dog. It's going to be
and I think that either way, even if you're Notre Dame and you were to lose this one, which I'm picking them to win it, I think that they have a quarterback that first off, I mean, we talked about whether or not he could make the reads. We've seen him do that. He's got over 1,000 yards and 13 touchdowns, no picks already this season.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't played a great schedule so far yet.
Neither has Ohio State.
Neither has Ohio State.
No, that's what I'm saying.
And that's where I feel like, and the other side of it is they've got pretty good secondary, and they've been pretty good on that defensive line as well. So I think that a lot of it, I think like anything else, if Notre Dame can get some pressure on this young quarterback, that could be where they could, because you damn sure better. Otherwise, you're going to get in trouble. If you don't put pressure on him and he's able to just toss it, they're too good. And
I don't think
it's good too, right?
Yes. And I think what Notre Dame definitely doesn't want is a shootout. As good as Sam Hartman has been playing, they don't want a shootout. They want a game in the mid-20s to mid-30s. They don't want to hit that 35-point plus because Ohio State just got way too many weapons. But I think they're, like you said, they've been good at stopping the run. Now, Travion Henderson is 100%, and he's been looking really good. And I forget, they got this other running back that's kind of coming along since the Western Kentucky game. This, according to Ohio State fans, he surpassed Mayan Williams as RB2, but I can't remember his name. It starts with a T. But they got a 3-headed monster back there, so it's gonna be an interesting
up there. A second.
But I think Notre Dame estimate has to do better than he did last year, but because of Sam Hartman, I think he will. Because last year nobody believed in Tyler Buckner, so you could crowd the box. Now with Sam Hartman, you can't crowd the box.
They've got some good receivers too. I mean, they're young on that other end, but that's where I think it is. I feel like with Hartman, he's done a great job so far with making that second read and third read, and he's spread the ball around a lot. You've got some receivers that maybe they were a little better than we thought they were a year ago, but you couldn't get the ball to them, so you wouldn't know. And that's what Coach talks about a lot. My thing is kind of like you. I love how physical Notre Dame is.
Really physical. Really physical.
And I enjoy seeing that. I think that's how, and they've kind of taken on that Ohio State of the time when Marcus Freeman played there. Back in the Jim Tressel days when they won with defense at that point, right?
Yeah, big facts.
So I think that's where you're starting to see them kind of take on the attitude of their coach, just like you hope that you're seeing the same at Oklahoma and I would venture to say everywhere, UGA and all that,
Yep.
But I still think I really like this game. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. In prime time too, as well.
7:30. That's right. I've been to Notre Dame. I've been to Notre Dame at night, man. It's a beautiful campus, dog. Like definitely bucket list. Definitely bucket
Man.
list. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've been fortunate
I
enough
actually haven't
to
seen
go.
the game in Notre Dame. I would love that.
Ooh, when you,
That would be a lot
what's
of fun.
crazy is when you watch it on TV, you know, all these years, of course, now as football fans, people that follow the game, we know those striped end zones are just, that screams Notre Dame, but it's different when you see it in person. You're like, oh, that looks so good.
Oh, dude, isn't it something, man? I'll tell you what, one of them, I've been to a lot of freaking amazing places. I cannot wait to do the SEC tour. We're gonna have a lot of fun with that whenever OU gets to the SEC. But I tell you, one of the coolest places I've been to was Happy Valley and watching Penn State. And
See, that's
whiteout game.
That's on the bucket list too. Just like I'm like you. I'm glad that OU Texas is coming because Norman and you know, Austin were on my bucket list. Of course, I went to Austin last year for the Texas Bama game, but I want to go for the Georgia game though. So you know what I'm saying. And I'd never been on Norman. Never been to Norman, but the company I work for does have a distribution center out there. So we're gonna see if we can work something out.
Yeah. Hey man, and I'll tell you, my guess is that year 2, Oklahoma will probably be at Athens, I would think. Maybe
I think what they'll, if it holds steady to what the SEC does, we'll go to Texas next year. Texas will come to us, and then the third year we'll come to you guys, and then you guys will come to us. But listen, South Carolina comes out there
3-3 finally, or the 3-6-6. I mean,
I think they're gonna do something like that, you know, where they have, you know, 2 permanent opponents type deal, and like you say, but I think that whatever they do, they're gonna make sure that everybody plays everybody within a 4-year span type deal. Like, you know, we haven't been to 2 Texas A&M since you know, playing. Since they came into the conference, they've come to us. We haven't been to them.
There's only one. Only played them once, right?
They came to Athens. Yeah, they came to Athens, and we haven't been out there. So that's another bucket list.
I'm glad that the schedule will clean up like that though too, because I think it's a shame that you don't get to. I love the idea of that 3-6-6 that you're going to have every other year. You're going to play everybody, and by 4 years' time, you will have been in every venue in the SEC. I love that. I love
me too. Me as a college football fan, you couldn't ask for more.
Oh, absolutely, man. And look, every one of them. I mean, even some of the places that aren't great as far as their programs are concerned, there's some history there. You know what I mean?
Man, you can't find a place in the SEC that isn't good for something on game week. Like Vandy, we already know their football program, but I'm gonna tell you right now, if you ain't been to Nashville on football weekend, don't pay attention to the game. Just go hang out in Nashville. I go every other year when Georgia. I'm going this year when Georgia goes to Vandy. I always go to the game. Hey, Nashville, baby, Broadway.
Nashville is very cool. Nashville is very cool, man. Yeah. Hey, look, it's a cooler city than Knoxville is.
And I'm gonna tell you, while I give the stat guy hell, man, when I tell you if you can go to a game at South Carolina, I say just because they're delusional, they're some of the most loyal, loud fans in college football, regardless of how good or bad their team is.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey man, I'm excited about that. You know, I tell you what, I'm excited to go to the Swamp. I'm excited to come to Athens. Of course,
I've never been to the Swamp. I've never
have. Well, no, because we
don't play. Exactly.
Do you think that that's going to go away pretty soon?
I don't think so. It means too much to the city of Jacksonville. And
what are they going to do because in it next year that they're not going to be able to play it there? Are they going to move it to like Orlando or something like that, or what are they going to do that?
No. They came out and confirmed it that they're still good to go. Even I think they're doing some construction or something, but they're good to go through. I think the current contract runs through 28, and it's going to get extended. They're not going to move from Jacksonville. You know, Kirby just wants to be able to recruit for it. That's all he cares about.
Well, the thing is I don't know why you would have a problem with the thing. I know he was complaining about it a little bit, that he just wanted to have it go.
No. What he said was that the reason why he didn't like it because they don't allow recruits to come in, and so He said, if you let me bring recruits, I really don't care where we play the game. Because that counts even when we're the home team, that counts as one of your home games. So what they tried to propose was, all right, whoever's the home team that year can bring recruits in. And both schools was like, nah, bro, you ain't gonna be able to bring recruits when I can't bring recruits. I don't care who's the home team. So it's still that way, but I don't think they're gonna change it. It's just like, I know it's more state law for Oklahoma, Texas for the state fair, but it's that one of those games that's not going to change. They're going to always be playing it. I ain't going to say always. Anything can happen, but for the foreseeable future, it's still going to be in Jacksonville.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, Eric Gumpy, in there talking that trash about 40 within UT. You don't even know what happened in that game. And the last time that UT mattered at all was a long time ago. They did all that and still didn't freaking win the conference championship. And Stark ain't never won more than freaking 9 games, but one time in his career. They call him 7-win Stark for a reason. Y'all
got a Texas fan in the chats? I ain't even been paying.
No, it's an Alabama fan talking shit. And they're talking shit. It's either a USC fan or a Bama. Now it's a Bama fan. Don't come in here with that madness.
Listen, man, you ain't doing that. You ain't doing it right if they ain't hating, Jason.
That's true. That's true. They can continue on with it. But we're gonna talk shit right back to you. You can believe that. That's what's gonna happen in here. But anyway, you don't play for rings. You have one title in 38 years. See, bro.
That's it.
They've played for national championships. They didn't win. I'll give you that. But they are playing for rings. Stop it.
I'm with Shawty. The tailgating in the South is stupid. I'm telling you, it's so good, dog. Like I say, I want to go to Ole Miss. Haven't been there. They got some of the,
man, the Grove, man. I've actually have been to a game there. It was a long time ago,
bro. That's what I'm saying. Like tailgating in the South, man.
Texas Tech one time. It was about 20 something years ago. They were trash, but it was a fun game.
That's what I'm saying. When you talk about the experience itself, I don't know if a whole conference top to bottom can beat the experience of all the teams in the conference when you go to the game. You know what I'm saying? LSU, though, from my experience, so in the West, I've been to LSU, Arkansas, Mizzou. LSU, Arkansas, Mizzou. I think that's it on the not Mizzou's in the East, but when I think about the West, but LSU's tailgating is off the hinges, bro. Like,
dude, I could only imagine. And I've never seen a game there. And
oh my God, I went to the Georgia LSU game. I want to say it was 2005, maybe 6. I don't know, but it was they beat us 13-10. And when they say the stadium shakes when it gets loud, it literally does shake. Like,
So have you been to A&M?
No, I haven't.
Because they haven't been there yet. Okay, so that sucker sways, bro. You get seasick in there.
That's crazy.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
I've been there twice, and whoa.
I want to go.
One time I went to watch Oklahoma there. I went to go watch, but the other time I was covering Tech there, and it was one thing sitting in the stands, but being in the press box whenever I covered Tech there, I thought that shit was coming out from underneath me, man. It was wearing me. I was like, wow, it gets rowdy in there.
And once y'all if y'all play at Tennessee, definitely watch where your seats are, because if you in that upper bowl, bro, it feel like you like leaning over on top of the stadium. Yeah, man, because it's so big, man. It's so massive. Bro.
It's a massive stadium, right? They put like 110 in there.
Yes. And I'm telling you, like, now, and also be prepared to watch some Tennessee fans fight each other. So every time I've been.
Always Tennessee fans fighting each other, not opposing fans.
No, Tennessee fans fighting each other. Now, granted, both times I went was a Georgia game, so they were losing. So
Hey, let's talk a little bit about that. What up with that Florida game? You called it, and I
told you.
I was right there with you. I was right there with you on that. I had no expectations of them, but
they just aren't as explosive as they were.
No, and I think that quarterback is garbage, man.
I told you, I've been saying that, man. Like,
he can't.
Think about all off season. All off season, they only talked about one thing: He can throw it a mile. He can throw it a mile. He hit the top upright
So what?
pro day. He can throw it a mile. He can throw it a mile. Okay, but he's not accurate. And
So
those
could- so
receivers
could
are
O'Connor.
good. The receivers are good, but they are not Jalen Hyatt. They are not Cedric Tillman. Like,
No, and I mean, they're a running team. I get that, but they didn't run it worth the shit the other night.
like I told somebody, it was like, oh, well, they still got Cooper Mays. I was like, Cooper Mays ain't his brother. I was like, you know, the other Mays was the one that was really good. And I mean, yeah, when you got them all on the same team, that's good. But I just didn't think they were explosive. I mean, I watched the Austin Peay game. It wasn't like it was 30-0 and Austin Peay scored 2 times in the fourth quarter. No, it was going into the fourth. It was still like a 10-point game. Like, nah, bro. Like and then Florida. Listen, I don't like Florida, but they are arch rival. It's hard to win in the swamp. It's the swamp. Like, it's hard to win in the swamp. And Tennessee has only done it 5 times ever. And they hadn't done it again. They hadn't done it since 2003. So I was like, yeah, I'm not believing in this offense, you know. So Sap. Oh, you talking about Colorado? Yeah. So I was so Shawty was in on so me and David talked about Warren Sapp supposed to be, I guess Deion's hiring him or looking to hire him in Colorado.
We didn't get to talk to David about it, man. We didn't have enough time.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit, but I think it'll help with recruiting. But listen, not all greats can teach. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes it's hard for them because they expect the guys to be as good as they are. So, but Shawty was saying he got a little pass. So I know I'm pretty sure they're gonna need to do some vetting. So look, man, the HOF was going at the Alabama dude. He said he wanted it spicy, you know. He got the spicy he was looking for.
He's getting him now.
Oh my gosh.
You talking clown. You talking clown. Smart ass talking that shit. Hey, all I know is BV's beating on Saban twice. His defense is feasted on Saban in the national championship game twice.
Hey, man.
That's how it's going to be. Oklahoma is not coming into the SEC to just freaking sit down and be second fiddle to nobody. It may take a little bit to do it, but they're not coming to lose. They're not coming to lose. And, you know, it goes in cycles. We talked about this before. And right now, hey, they just picked up Danny Okoye last night, too, as a guy that Bama really wanted. Everybody really wanted him. You know, high 4-star. That's their 5th blue chip defensive lineman in this cycle alone. You know,
hey man, you're right. Goes in cycle, man. As a dog fan, I'm enjoying our cycle. This is 2020s is our decade, baby.
Hey man, we're gonna see. We're gonna see, man.
Listen, that doesn't mean that somebody else won't win, but like the 2010s belong to
Bama didn't win it all the time either.
Yeah, but but we'll always be there or in the talk or whatever, like I say. And then hey, after that, if it goes away, so be it, dog. I'll be in here like the Alabama fan in the comments saying you haven't won as many as we have.
Look, it is what it is. You know, I mean, Oklahoma has 7 national championships. They'll never be okay with just playing for conference titles. They played for some and didn't win them, man. They played for championships and didn't win them in the BCS era. You know, and they went up against some damn good teams and lost them. You know, but some of them they should have won. Some of them, it is what it is. You know, Tim Tebow was probably one of the best quarterbacks in the history of the game in college football.
For real, but college players.
That was a hell of a freaking team too.
College players, not just college quarterbacks.
Well, and think about how loaded that team was, man.
Stupid loaded.
On both sides of the ball. And Urban was, you know, at the top of his game. Sam, you know, they almost had him. It was a close game, good game. The LSU game.
I mean, you know, if you think about it, other than those one-off teams, you know, like 2010 Auburn, that's kind of a one-off team, you know, with Cam. You got these teams, man, they are stacked with talent on both sides of the ball, regardless of whether you like them or not. You know, all the Alabama teams, you know, the Florida teams, the USC back in the early 2000s, the Georgia teams, like these Clemson teams, like these teams are stacked with talent on both sides of the ball, dog. You got to be bringing it. Like, you got to have a good coach, but you got to have them Jimmys and Joes too now.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. And that's what it takes. I mean, you know, and that's what I said, you know, that's now, well, according with last year, PJ Adebawari, that's that's their on defense. That's their third 5-star. I think there's still an opportunity that they might flip Williams Winery as well. That would be another 5-star on defense. That's their third 5-star on the defensive line. Or no, third 5-star on defense, because you have Peyton Bowen, who's probably going to be a freshman All-American if he keeps playing like he has been. He's been unbelievable so far.
Gotta have the trenches. Gotta have the trenches.
Right. Yeah. Listen, and I feel like Nigel Smith, he's definitely a top 100 guy, but I think that if he went to more of those camps, he's a 5-star guy too. He's 6'5", 265. Explosive. He can move inside or outside. I think he's going to be that guy. Danny Okoye, man, deadlifting 750 freaking pounds, and he's got speed and nasty. He's an edge dude.
Now you just got to get like you say, it's like just got to get these guys to pan out once they put on that OU uniform.
Absolutely, and that's the good news about having guys like Todd Bates. For you Bama fan in there, one of your boys is our D-line coach. He's never had a guy that wasn't a freaking all-conference defensive lineman. Never. So at some point while he coached him, hey, I'm going to welcome in. I don't know if you know this guy or not, but he's from the Big 12 Mafia show as well. This is Immaculate. What's up, man? How you doing?
What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
What's going on, man?
Good, man. You guys are how we doing? What are we talking about today?
A little bit of everything, man. I'm getting ready for a trip. I got to catch a plane in Dallas tomorrow, going to the Cincy game for Oklahoma.
Nice.
So we've been but what a slate this weekend, right? I mean, a bunch of top 25 games, conference season starting off, for everybody pretty much. And
we had trouble picking who we were going to pick for this week.
I didn't like the slate of games for us that either, dog. I was like, in our pick 'em, I was like, I don't want to pick none of this stuff, dog.
I mean, first it's which ones are we going to do, and then how badly am I going to do, because these spreads are either huge or they're non-existent.
It's a lot of at least 4 to 5 games. I say I can talk myself into the point spread and the underdog, or I can talk myself into the guy, the favorite covering the spread. So it's I didn't want to touch. Like I honestly didn't even want to pick the Ohio State Notre Dame game, but I had to because it's like the CBS app. You got to choose something. So
you got to talk about that one.
I mean, you've got. Look at all these, man. I mean, I still think that we got to talk a little bit about
Utah. UCLA is another one I didn't want to touch.
UCLA is I don't really want to mess with that one bet wise. I'll tell you what. I think this Florida State Clemson game is probably still. Look, I know that Florida State.
We don't know if Jordan Travis is 100%.
Exactly, and FSU beat freaking LSU last year, and then lost to North Carolina State and freaking Wake. I don't until. Not to mention they've lost 8 in a row to Clemson. I don't have this as a foregone conclusion like everybody seems to.
It does help them that it's in the day though, like it's another game.
Yeah, I picked Florida State because not just Florida State, but Clemson. I'm be honest with you, offensively they don't scare anybody. I mean, Will Shipley is a great talent, but he can't do it all by himself. Cade Klubnik is not the 5-star number 1 quarterback in the class that he was built to be. I'm still I get that they got Garrett there calling plays now, but I told
he's calling the wrong system.
But I also told you you still got to have the guys on the outside. I don't care who you got calling the plays. And listen, they got my guy Tyler Brown. Shout out to Tyler Brown, man. I'm friends with his dad, but he can't do it all by himself.
Right. So then you've got Ole Miss, Alabama. Can Ole Miss go in there and get it done?
Yeah.
I actually picked. I took them in the points.
Yeah, I think he's playing for that job.
You think so?
Thank you. I said that Lane Kiffin is the next coach at Alabama.
He's already been there.
I've been saying this for 2 years. Everybody keeps saying Kirby, Dabo, this guy.
It's not crazy. I mean, I could see why in earlier years people would say that to you, but this year, the way things are now, with the way Dabo has gone down and Kirby is solidified at Georgia, I don't.
Dog, Lane, I'm telling you, if it's not Lane, if it is a guy from Georgia, it's going to be Glenn Schumann. Glenn Schumann actually graduated from Alabama, so I don't want that to be the case because we love Glenn Schumann. So, but I could see that. But Kirby ain't going nowhere. Kirby, born and raised in Georgia, played at Georgia.
He's built that thing now. That is his baby. There's no.
Why would you leave your alma mater to go coach somewhere else?
And it's Georgia,
and you're doing the same thing.
Dabo doesn't want to play the NIL game and the transfer portal game. He's got it as good as it's gonna get right where he is. Everybody
It's not
wants
going to be Dabo for this reason. Dabo's culture doesn't fit Alabama. Alabama don't care nothing about that. They care about rings, dog. Get them however you can.
That's right. They're gonna
all that, you know. Hey, you can't visit nobody else. And
the reason that they dominated the time that they did is because they were the best at paying when it wasn't legal.
I mean, if he wanted that job, he picked a really bad time to lose to Duke.
Yeah, I don't think that. I don't even think that he does, though. I don't think
so either.
That's how he wants it. Nobody's talking. Nobody's pushing him around. What did Clemson do? How long had it been since they'd been relevant at all before they did what they did?
Clemson,
I mean,
he's built
he
it.
did it.
Basically, yeah, he did that, and I don't think he's going nowhere.
No, I wouldn't if I was him. I mean, like you're saying, that's his baby, man. Like
his attitude, his attitude, demeanor, none of that fits Alabama. None of that.
No, but Lane Kiffin.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, honestly, if someone could come up with a better name at this point in time, I'm down to hear it. Like, for sure.
Nobody makes sense like Lane, bro.
Like, when you look at what he's doing at Ole Miss, the way he's doing it, that's how people want it at Alabama.
You don't think he's pissed too many people off though in Tuscaloosa?
They don't.
No,
care.
they like. I think they like that. Like Lane, like Lane is for the. Like he can handle the media. You know what I'm saying? He can handle all of that stuff. So. What up?
And,
what
they might not have liked him last year or whatever, but this year now they're scared. So
Shawty, you there, man?
Forgotten.
Hold up. He's
Shawty,
driving, so he's trying to. He's in the sticks, so his signal might not be good.
I'm here, man.
Oh.
Okay. We'll leave your sound on, man, and let you stay there anyway. What do you?
Turn your camera off. Turn your camera off.
Say what? I can't. What you say now, Jason?
I said you cruising on the road, huh?
Yeah, man. On the way from work, man. I had a long one today, man, and looking at these comments, man. What y'all done did to them folks in the comments, man?
I don't know, dog. The Bama guy came in and said it was boring in here. So
talking that Yang, man. You know, I don't think my guys were really messing with him until he started running his mouth. But calling everybody poverty and shit.
Is Peanut Butter HOF? Is he HOF?
He's he watches our show quite a bit.
Oh, bro, he's part of
Smack. Is he
talking? I'll leave him alone. I'll leave him alone there.
I came in on the backside of the Kirby conversation, and y'all remember this guy. We talk about it all the time. Only way I see Kirby leaving, and it'll be for the NFL. And we remember, guy, it's gonna be because it's his ego. He done did all he can do. I'm telling you something I heard Barbara Dooley say, and I heard her say this about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I heard this too.
She said, you remember I said that she said if he win a third national championship, the best thing he can do is quit. Because ain't nowhere to go with that. You see what I'm saying?
That's right.
He won't, but then back to what you said, it's his ego. His ego gonna make him think he can do it a fourth time. That's what I'm telling you. Kirby is. That's why I think he'll go to the
NFL, and that'll be one step he'll have on Saban too. Not saying he's chasing Saban. I'm just saying that'll be one thing the old ball coach couldn't do.
Yeah. See, I think he want them. I think he like Kobe, Kobe and Jordan. I think he want them 6. Like, Saban got 7, but 6 at Alabama. I think if Kirby win this one, I think he wants 6. Now, whether we do it,
Immaculate for about 15 minutes. So let's holler real quick about this. 24 Iowa at Penn State.
I was wondering if you're going to bring that one up.
We were just talking about the whiteout game. I've been there one time. It was a long time ago, but it was unbelievable, right?
Oh my God, bro!
I had at the beginning of this year. I'm not going to lie. I got 11-1 Iowa, and this game was the loss. But I actually think they might be closer than what I've been thinking it would be, just because I'm not really that impressed with Penn State's offense, to be honest. Of course, I'm not all that impressed with Iowa's offense, but that's just,
Well, I mean, they seem to open it up late against West Virginia, but what is the spread on that?
The spread was actually not that bad. It was like 20.
I think I took
21.
Penn State.
Is it 21?
Was it 14?
I think it was 4. I thought it was in the teens.
14.
I think
top 25 teams, man.
No. I think it. I don't know. I might be wrong. I thought it was in the teens because I took Penn State. I do know that.
Yeah.
Y'all should go to, if y'all on Instagram, y'all should go to Aaron Murray player lounge page and see what he said about Iowa's defense.
Oh no, was it pretty bad?
It was just funny. He mentioned the DBs. He said so Aaron Murray was like he was trying to do some research for the game or whatever, and he was like the first thing he noticed was that Iowa had 2 white DBs, and he's like, I would definitely attack those guys.
He's actually pretty good though. The guy's pretty good. But,
that's what one of the commenters.
Funny. It's still funny though.
I was laughing because he was like, he's like, I did a double take. He's like, I am definitely attacking.
It is striking when you look at it, you go, is that first string? Oh, okay, all right. But they've been there.
True.
I thought it was funny coming from Aaron Murray. I thought it was funny coming from Aaron Murray, especially
since he could be another Jason Sehorn, right?
He won that damn fast. Hey. He was a big hitter.
Someone in the chat says they need to get rid of the head coach and the offensive coordinator. But here's the problem: once we get rid of Ferentz, I'm pretty sure Parker is just going to walk out the door as well.
Yeah, Ferentz is Iowa.
And if we lose Parker, I mean Ferentz is Iowa, but so is Parker. That's the defensive coordinator, and if we lose him, everything that they're known for is pretty much walking.
I was about to say you definitely don't want
that sandwich though.
What's that?
No, here comes the sandwich talk. This is
you know what it is.
Yeah,
like Iowa, you're not tired of eating that same sandwich that they feed y'all year in and year out. You don't want no extra mustard or no spice on it.
We have to with the West Coast coming in here. We're gonna have to face it eventually. So,
but you're gonna do it with the same people at the Ham, though, right? You're not talking about making a change.
It's one of those things where Ferentz in that town. We're talking about an overall town population of like under 100,000. He's basically king of that town. Okay.
Oh yeah.
He runs around there and he can get police escorts wherever. I mean, this dude is king of that town.
And so he get coached, so he get tired of coaching football. Damn winning.
And that's where I think the angle is on the son. If they push him out, that they're basically, if your dad and you got pride on the line and they're forcing your son out, you're probably walking out with them. And it's about time. But my worry is that if he goes, Parker's going to. He's not going to want to be under some young gun head coach, and they're not going to give him the head coach because they need a plan for the future.
So, yeah, man. When's the? Do you go to a game every year generally, or
no? I'm born and raised in Iowa. I'm a Hawkeye fan, but I am not a Hawkeye. So, and I'm down here in Arizona. So
it's a lot nicer.
Getting up there is. It's not really.
I was going to say one of
they
the
were just blowing
that I've seen is the way that they do that.
What's that?
Where they turn in and do the wave to the children's hospital. That is freaking unbelievable.
Yeah, and that's always been a very big deal there. It's just when they built that new hospital right there for that.
Yeah,
it kind of became part of it. But like the children's hospital and their overall.
I know it's a fairly new thing, but that is super freaking cool, man.
Yeah, and when that first came on and that was on game day and they were getting up there into the rooms with the kids, what was going on, I think everyone kind of got in their feels over that because
oh man, yeah, right.
It's just a different level. Like you appreciate everything going on, and then you see it from that angle, and it's just kind of like, oh man.
MGM's got it at 14.5. I don't know why I kept missing. It's 14.5, 15. Yeah,
it's at Penn State, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a whiteout game.
And Iowa kind of has a history against them. If you look, it's almost 50-50. So I still don't think they're going to win, but I think they might cover.
Yeah. I hope not.
I could see maybe 10 points, a 10 points difference on that game, and then
I can see that happening too. I mean, look, the Big Ten isn't big on scoring aside from for a couple of teams. So
man, we like our defense. I know people it's not exciting, but
I know
I like the game when it comes down to the end and you just don't know what the hell is going to happen. But
listen, and that's where when you get one of those matchups like Iowa against Michigan or Penn State or Ohio State, and you get a slobber knocker, I don't mind that so much. But overall, the entire conference being that way is rough, man.
Well, I'll be honest. The East is doing pretty good this year. The West,
usually the West be some hard.
Usually, I push back on the West talk, but this year I can't. Like, we don't have any. Like Iowa's the best, and come on, I mean they're good, but they're not great.
Right,
I would
right.
take Rutgers or Maryland in the West right now, probably.
Wow.
Wow. And Rutgers is undefeated, right?
Rutgers is
Yeah.
not bad this year, guys. Their
Yeah.
defense is holding. They've got an
Greg
offense.
Schiano knows what he's doing, man.
I'm sitting here going,
Greg Schiano knows what he's doing.
My long shot is watch Rutgers against Michigan. JJ had 3 interceptions last week.
Yeah, I'm not a big JJ.
I stayed away from that
I'm
one.
not a big Michigan fan.
I stayed away from that one because they gave me that point spread is like 20 something, and I was like,
Exactly.
oh.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, the point spread on that is. Oof.
Yeah.
So I was just looking at some of these spreads. I think that's a big ass spread for SC and Arizona State. 34.
No, Arizona State is
Arizona State, yeah, they
so is SC's defense.
They're horrible.
Yeah, but Arizona State has no offense. That freshman that they've been starting, he's not playing.
Yeah, he's not.
Jay Rashad is not playing.
No, he's injured, dude. They got nothing.
Yeah.
He got hurt already. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
well,
they already pulled him. Yeah, locally it's so bad. The head coach has taken over play calling this week.
Well, yeah, Kenny, he should have. I was surprised he gave it up.
Could be the surprise, but how do you sit here and like call what that's going to be? It's kind of an unknown. Right. But I mean,
Washington has been really good though.
Dude, Washington could be in that.
True freshman quarterback come in and starts, and he's not. You know,
they didn't do it on purpose. The first guy got hurt. He was the second one, so apparently they're down to number 3 now. Then.
Oh yeah, that's
the first guy is coming back. Pine.
Yeah, Drew Pine.
Mm-hmm. I think he's actually coming back now this week.
Okay.
Wasn't Drew Pine at another school before?
Yeah,
he was pretty good actually.
Wasn't Drew Pine at Michigan State or
Notre Dame?
Notre Dame. Yeah. That's it. That's it.
He was the one that could throw that left.
So wouldn't Arizona State be in a better position to win if the true starters coming back?
Possible. Jaden Rashada was the much more athletic guy, but he
was another freshman there, man. That's just tough.
I was not a big fan. The guy who's at LSU right now, when he was at ASU, I was not a big fan of him either. Just
Daniels.
He was so frail and thin. Like every single time he got hit, I thought he was just going to break in half.
I saw the potential in that kid, though. He always had potential.
Oh, he's good now.
He's got the talent around him. That's the problem with Arizona State. No matter who the quarterback, they ain't got nothing around him.
I think that I honestly think they'll be better off in the Big 12 in the future, just in terms of
Arizona State. I think so too. I don't see why not. And I think that Dillingham's a decent coach, man. If he can become a head coach, we'll find out. He's a hell of an offensive guy, though.
He basically took it over. He's like, I gotta do both now.
He should.
Everything's on the line. So
he should.
What do they say about your OC? Is that the writing on the wall?
Could be.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of hard not to say that at this point in time. Like a couple games.
Well, I mean, he could always do the Jimbo thing and like just keep him and then be able to blame him for shit, even though he calls it.
Let him be the quarterback coach or something.
Yeah.
I mean, Jimbo,
especially if he's a good recruiter.
Coordinator last year because they were trash. He didn't call plays.
Yeah, he'll be the fullbacks coach.
Yeah, FSU. That's a 2.5 point spread on the road. FSU at Clemson. Clemson getting 2.5 at home.
State got to show me.
Yeah, I still think FSU's got to show me too. Does SMU beat TCU this week? SMU is giving. No, they're getting 6.5.
I mean, TCU is not what they were last year, but I think that they've gotten kind of hit pretty hard due to what happened with Colorado.
SMU looked pretty good, man. Their quarterback is salty, man. He's good. But
yeah, I mean, maybe they pull it off, but I just think that overall, I didn't think that TCU was that bad. I thought that their defense.
I don't think they're that bad either. I think that they're.
They are. They are.
They are. Okay. I'll take your word on it.
I think it's hangover time for them for sure. You get it hung on you like that in the national championship game. It's tough, man.
But Jason, look how many games they skated by last year. I mean, they skated by so many games last year. It's great.
He's not wrong. Every single game came down to the very end, and
that's what happens when you get on a streak like that, where you win a bunch of games by a couple here, a couple there, a couple here, a couple there, and you keep coming from behind like that. It turns into a magical season at some point. But I also think that
It was that quarterback.
You know, what did they?
Duggins was good. Duggins was
7-1.
good.
He was good with.
But he did. There was
He
multiple
was
times when
he's a
was just
game.
like,
He was a game
he was
maker.
like,
He's a
my
game-
team around me is
Yeah,
crap,
for
and I'm
4
just
years
going to run this
before
in
that, he
myself.
wasn't worth a shit.
I
So,
know, but he's a gamer last year. That's all I can say.
He
He was a
was,
gamer last year. So
and I'm saying Garrett Riley was a big part of that, and he's not there
could
anymore,
be.
right?
Could be.
No.
But I
Yeah.
also think that, you know, Chad's son's pretty good. You know, but I don't think he's going to be. I don't think he's the best quarterback tomorrow. I don't think that he was the best quarterback against CU. For sure, he wasn't the best quarterback against CU.
Yeah, I know for sure.
And I don't know how many weeks. I don't know how many weeks he's going to be the best quarterback. Chandler's a good. Chad Morris is his dad, Chandler Morris, though. But he's good. He was at OU before. I think he's a decent player. I just don't think that there's a whole lot of weeks in the Big 12 where he's going to be the best quarterback. And when you have 7 one-score wins one year, you got to figure it's going to go the other way. You know, it's bound to go the other way at some point. You're not going to stay on that.
Probably this year.
So I
I'm going to have to get running. Oh, he's got to go too.
I'm talking about yeah.
And sorry I was late, man.
Oh, no worries.
I had my nose on that Washington State, Oregon State press conference going on. That just happened today.
If you want to get, I'll shoot you a leak for Saturday morning. I'll be in Cincy, but I'm going to try to run a quick pregame deal for Saturday. So if you got time to jump on Saturday morning, I'll
have to be
shoot
quick.
you a link.
Saturdays are like on the couch, you know,
no worries,
watching
man.
the games.
No
But
worries.
yeah, I'll keep an eye out for it.
Yeah, I'm going to jump on anyway. But yeah, hey, we'll talk to you guys soon. Tell everybody how to find you, Immaculate.
Immaculate View right now on X, Twitter. We'll be starting up some YouTube work here pretty soon. But for now, Immaculate View on Twitter.
And also on the Big 12 Mafia quite often.
You guys know Bomber on here, so usually I'm running around with him on that show. So
very cool. Well, thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate it. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
All right, man. Bye. Appreciate you, Jason.
Coach, you got to get out of here. Tell everybody
man,
how to find you as well. And
all right, man. Y'all know what it is. Fanatic Sports. Fanatic Sports everywhere, man. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. You know, Jason, me and Jason, you know, we were roommates.
Yeah, pretty much. And I got two questions over there at Fanatic Sports Network. He left one over here last time too. So
man.
Hey,
appreciate you, dog.
And of course, Shawty, man, we appreciate you coming in all the time. I was on your show last night. I had a lot of fun with you guys.
Glad you enjoyed it, man.
Man, it was fun, bro. It was fun, man.
I tell you what, man. I've been on about 3 shows. Well, not been on, but I've been able to watch about 3 shows today, bouncing left or right. Man, y'all done brought me in. I've been on the road about 3.5 hours. Y'all done brought me all the way back in the home, man.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad, man. Well, we are gonna go ahead and haul ass out of here too. I gotta get some stuff done, and then I gotta get to work. So, and then I'm out of here in the morning. I got about a 5-hour drive to Dallas before I fly. So
well, listen, man, enjoy, be safe, man. And you know what I'm saying? Come out with the victory.
Yeah, man. We're excited about it. Excited to just start that last season in the Little 12 and before running off to the big ones. You know, hey, hope everybody in here enjoyed the show. Even you, Tide, even though you've been in there talking that trash, we actually like that. We don't mind it at all. If you can dish it out and take it, we're good with that.
He the one made me call in, Jason. I wasn't gonna call in, so I started seeing no comments. Cause like that tight stuff.
Some mad smack too. So, people clowning Bama sounds so dumb. Why? Oh man, it's so funny.
All I said to that is, man, you know, being a Bama fan, you know, we ain't here to talk about the past either.
That's true. That's a fair.
We just talking about what's happening right now. We ain't want to talk about the past.
Yeah. Hey man, Bama had a hard time with USF yesterday and that's in the present. So, last week. So, I wouldn't be too cocky right now, we're gonna see what's up. I tend to wonder if Lane's gonna get it done tomorrow, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does, because
Lane gonna lane, man.
Lane is gonna lane. I think it's about time that he needs to win one of these games where he talks all that shit. So, you know what I mean? Getting stuff started. So we'll see what happens though. see what happens. But guys, thank you everybody for jumping into the show. If you hadn't already hit that like button, you better at least hit the dislike. And we'll do something, help us out here. We appreciate everybody coming on. 2 hours and 48 minutes. I'm past my prime here. Got to get. Thanks a lot, everybody, for coming in, and we will see you on the next one.